A guy named Yu Do-hyuk received a message from Chai Jimin. She asked him where he was, calling him Do-hyuk Appa. Girls address young men who are older than them this way. He was looking at his phone because he wanted to reply and didn't notice the man, and they bumped heads. Yu Do-hyuk apologized to the man, who said it was no big deal and also apologized. After that, Jimin replied that he was at the store. He is a freshman and has no friends, but it seems that he has found a girl he likes. Until recently, he could only watch Chai Jimin from afar. They met at a club where they joined to get in shape. While they were working toward their goal, they became friends and started talking about various things. Jimin supported him during training. They could talk about anything. They talked about their favorite books, movies, games, and music, and exchanged little messages and stories. Finally, this weekend, they agreed to have dinner together at his place. So Yu Do-hyuk decided to quickly prepare something to eat. He decided to cook meat with vegetables and also get something to drink so they could have a good time together. Yu Do-hyuk noticed a black tower that looked like a screw. One day, this thing, over 200 meters high, appeared out of nowhere. There are 2,365 such towers in the world. When they appeared, people panicked. Religious and scientific organizations from all countries are studying them. But so far, no one has learned anything, and the towers just stand there motionless. People quickly got used to it, and the interest lasted no more than 3 weeks. Very soon, everyone returned to their normal lives, including him. Yu Do-hyuk was buying groceries at the store when he suddenly felt that something had happened. He seemed to hear a voice telling him to compete. He didn't understand what it was and thought he had just imagined it. Then he gave the cashier his bank card to pay for his groceries. But in an instant, he saw her transform into something terrifying. He started calling for help. Yu Do-hyuk looked around and saw that all the people who were with him in the store were starting to transform. But in a moment, everything stopped, and the people came to their senses, rejoicing that they were alive. Yu Do-hyuk asked what was going on. People were happy that they were all right and said they would start all over again. One guy said that this time he would become stronger. But the horror did not end there. He saw the saleswoman deal with a customer and thank them for always shopping there. But she was destroyed by another girl who rejoiced that she could now use the essence. People seemed to have gone mad and began to destroy each other. The man did not understand where his status window was or where his ability was. The girl who had fulfilled the conditions for activating the essence attacked him. He said that he couldn't use the essence yet and that it wasn't time to start. But the girl destroyed him. Watching this, Yu Do-hyuk did not understand what was happening. Then a guy came up and said that Yu Do-hyuk was here. People immediately turned their attention to him and said, "Is the Great King Yu Do-hyuk here? If the Great King of the first level is here, they can start all over again." So they were all determined to destroy him. The guy said he would deal with him himself. The others also wanted to take his essence. Yu Do-hyuk didn't understand why they all wanted him, and why him in particular. One man attacked him, and he asked if it was some kind of joke. The man said that he was his prey. Yu Do-hyuk realized that they were all hunting him and wanted to destroy him. He started to run away, not understanding how they knew his name and why they were trying to kill him. This made everything even more complicated. Yu Do-hyuk tried to call the police and wanted to get away as quickly as possible. He ran out into the street, but there he was hit by a car, and the same man from the store got out and told him not to run away. Yu Do-hyuk saw the man on the street and ran up to him to ask for help, saying that an assassin was chasing him. The man asked if he was Yu Do-hyuk. He replied that he was. After that, the man turned to him and said that he was lucky this time. It was the man he had bumped into. Then he shouted that a place in the Phenomenal 9 would be his. But the man was attacked. It was Yu Do-hyuk's friend, Chai Jimin. She asked if he was okay and said that he was lucky because she was nearby. Then she told him to be careful because he was still alive. They saw that enemies were surrounding them on all sides. So she asked him to run away quickly. He asked what enemies and what she was talking about because everything had been fine just a minute ago. She asked him if he really thought that what was happening was normal and then told him to come to his senses. Because if he continued in the same vein, they would all be destroyed. It would start soon, so he had to hurry and they would leave the questions for later. Jimin threw away her glasses and gave him her hand. She said they had to go and he asked where. She replied that they were going to his place, of course. They managed to get to Yu Do-hyuk's apartment and he asked what it all meant. She said that she thought he didn't remember anything. Nothing that happened before he returned. He asked what return he was referring to. Jimin wanted to find some kind of weapon. Then she said that in short, people wanted to destroy him. He was the most attractive target for them. Yu Do-hyuk asked why since he hadn't done anything. So there was no reason to take his life. She told him to calm down and he asked how he could possibly be calm. Especially when everyone was hunting him. She grabbed him and said that in a few hours it would be midnight and someone would come to take over the land. Therefore, he must win the battle and lead the people to destroy the god. Yu Do-hyuk was surprised that he had to do this, but he did not understand how it was possible. He considered himself too weak for that. Then they heard something and Yu Do-hyuk thought it was an earthquake. Jimin said, "Has it started?" But it was too early for that. Yu Do-hyuk wondered how the tower could rotate and saw something before his eyes. A system window opened in front of him saying that this was the 54th universe, MPA Planet 913. The Cassidy Needle program was launching. Then he felt something happening to him. It was as if his body was about to split in two. A message appeared on the screen about body enhancement and forced development. The same thing happened to Jimin. When he came to Yu Do-hyuk asked her what had happened, but saw that she was unconscious. He tried to wake her up and was lucky that nothing terrible had happened. His pain disappeared without a trace, and he grew a little taller. A strange power surged through his hands. Yu Do-hyuk saw a notification on the screen that his body enhancement was complete and that he needed to say the word status to check his abilities. He thought it was some kind of hallucination, but now was not the time to think about it. Reality was reality, so he had to adapt to it. Yu Do-hyuk said the word status and saw his abilities. He had the wolf's eye. Then he asked Jimin what it was. She replied that it was a settings window and that everything seemed to be correct. In the future, it would become tedious to look there, and his characteristics were still at a basic level. He noticed her and said that she looked different. Jimin said that the same thing had happened to him. Their bodies had been forcibly enhanced to the limit. Yu Do-hyuk asked how this was possible and if God had done it. She told him to look outside. They saw that the city was destroyed. He was surprised to see 2 moons in the sky. Jimin said that they were in a multiverse created by the Black Tower. Every time she turns to the Earth, another world is superimposed. Now the people of this world are going through a return. The return means that memories from the future are coming back. As he can see from the future, she has returned, and her memory has returned. Yu Do-hyuk asked what the future meant. She replied that it was different from the future he imagined. God helped the Black Tower appear and forcibly improved people and gave each one abilities. Abilities are called essence. People can take essence from each other. Thus, they were forced to play a dangerous game called enlightenment. It does not matter who started it. From that moment on, only a struggle for life began. Many have died throughout the existence of enlightenment. 9 people stood out among them. Their powers surpassed those of God, and people equal to God feared them and called them the Phenomenal 9. He must remember all this. He was called the Great King. He was the strongest of the 9. Yu Do-hyuk said that this was the first time he had heard of this. If so, then they want to destroy him because of his essence. After that, Jimin flew into the air and said that her essence was as flexible as rubber. His abilities were beyond human capabilities. A total of 2 essences can be obtained. One is given at the beginning, and the other is obtained from the first enemy destroyed. So what would she do if they destroyed him? Yu Do-hyuk asked what his ability was. She was surprised that he was still asking and told him to concentrate, because he can see it himself. He saw a notification on the screen that his essence tasted like steel. Jimin asked if that was all. He replied that there was something else. The second essence is called Beyond the Horizon and is obtained when Cassidy is destroyed. They looked out the window and saw people fighting each other, and then something strange descended from the sky. It looked like a human with wings. Yu Do-hyuk asked who it was. The creature's feathers scattered around. Yu Do-hyuk asked what it was and caught one feather. Jimin wanted to stop him, but was too late. The enlightenment began earlier than she expected, but everything should be fine because he is the best player. Yu Do-hyuk woke up on the street and did not understand where he was or how he had been transported to the foot of a black tower in a second. The creature that descended from the heavens summoned several more of its kind. Some people thought it was a bird, but others knew it was indeed an angel. The angel who appeared before them said that they were in a specially isolated area. Everyone present would have to undergo a difficult test. To begin with, they had to deal with the guys who had appeared before them. At first, the man was frightened when he saw them, but then he said that they were small and asked what special isolated area they were talking about. The angel said that they were underestimating them, then destroyed the man and told them to just look at them. He got tired of messing around with them. After that, people noticed that some kind of slime had appeared on their hands. One man said that the smell was disgusting and asked where this filth had come from. After that, all those people were destroyed by monsters. The angel said that it was a special pheromone that he had spread to stimulate the goblins. Those who scored the most points for destroying them would receive a reward. After that, the angel announced the start of the competition. People began to fight the goblins using their abilities. You can get coins for destroying goblins. The girl said that her first essence accelerates the growth of plants, and the other allows her to control objects. With these abilities, she destroyed many goblins and received coins for it. Another man was also surprised that this was a test of the highest difficulty. He thought the task was too easy. Then this man asked Yu Do-hyuk if he was speechless with fear, but in an instant, this man was destroyed by a goblin. People began to lose, realizing that the goblins could not be destroyed. They came back to life and continued to attack. One guy told Yu Do-hyuk that he couldn't move and that it was weird that his lower back hurt. He asked him for help. Yu Do-hyuk was angry that the angels called what was happening a test, but it was complete nonsense. He grabbed a stick and started fighting the goblins. Then he asked a girl if she was okay and told her to hide somewhere. But she died. The angel said that he had said that the trial was difficult and extraordinary. Yu Do-hyuk wondered if they had any chance of surviving. Yu Do-hyuk dealt with the goblins and entered the building. No matter how many he killed, new ones kept coming, and he wondered how long this would continue. Then he decided he had to find Jimin and checked his status. His stats had changed. He improved his strength parameter and spent 600 coins on it. Now he had to do everything possible to stay alive. Then a man approached him and asked how he was feeling. Then he said he had found a good item. Nothing valuable dropped from those he had killed, and if he had a good item, he should give it to him. The man lunged at him, but Yu Do-hyuk grabbed him. For a moment, he was afraid that he had killed him, but the man had tricked him. He struck him and said that he had obtained the essence of the dead man. It was such a small thing that he wanted to cry. But if he wants to destroy him, he should be prepared for serious action, and the wounds inflicted by his knife would not heal. The man pounced on him and struck him blow after blow. For a moment, Yu Do-hyuk thought it was the end, but then he seemed to hear that he had to come to his senses. After that, the conditions for activating the essence of steel taste were met. To activate it, he had to say the word food. He recognized the item and took it from his opponent. Then he struck him. Yu Do-hyuk doesn't know how it happened, but he had almost resigned himself to death. The man asked if he had eaten the item and healed himself. Was he really a great king? So that's what he really is. After that, the man lunged at him, but Yu Do-hyuk destroyed him and received coins as a reward. He couldn't come to his senses because he had destroyed a person and didn't understand what kind of reward this was. His body ached, and he thought that if he passed out here, it would be bad. After that, the conditions for activating the essence beyond the horizon were met. When the entity's owner receives a stimulus that goes beyond the normal, his abilities increase in proportion to the stimulus. Yahello looked out the window and saw that it was already dawn. His abilities had improved, and he was surprised because he thought it would require spending coins. Therefore, he thought that the entity had another effect. Then he saw someone kill a man. The man begged him not to do it. Yahello saw an angel and asked who he was because they had never met before. Then he asked if he wanted to escape unnoticed. Did he really have no motivation? Yahello remembered that he was there when monsters started killing people, and that was how it all began. That's why he attacked him. The angel called him stupid for attacking an angel. Then he hit him. He said that he was not like those he usually tortured and destroyed. Yahello did not understand why the angel was acting this way, and asked him about it. The angel said that enlightenment had not progressed in the last 3 days, so maybe that was why. Yahello was surprised that he had slept for so long. After that, the angel grabbed him and said that it was ridiculous. So if he was acting like that, he must be confident in his abilities. Yahello asked what he was up to and told him to let him go. The angel said he was sorry that he had relaxed so much. Then he showed him the final boss and asked what he thought of him. When Yahello saw him, he was frightened. The survivors asked for the next test. Did they have to fight the goblins again? The girl said that at least they could earn more than the others. The angel said that their determination was beyond the pale. After that, he opened the gate and summoned a named monster, saying that if they did so, they would get a nice bonus. He was sure they would appreciate it. The assassin Chicha came out of the gate, so let the people try to defeat him and survive. The angel told Yahello to challenge him. If he defeats him, he will receive a pile of coins, although it will be difficult with an ordinary approach. The player attacked the monster, but it destroyed him. The angel said that he underestimated Chichek's dynamic vision. This is the ability to track fast-moving objects. Another angel told everyone to hurry up and earn coins to increase their stats. Another added that with their current skill level, they wouldn't even be able to defeat a fly. The man called them bullies. Another asked how to earn money if there were no goblins. The angel said that it was possible to destroy more than just goblins. Therefore, he declared a hunt for humans. Yahello wondered how much he would get if he took care of that boss. The angel said that he would find out when he challenged him, because he had already thought about it. Yahello realized that there was nowhere to run. If he tried to escape, he would be destroyed, and if he did nothing, he would die. So it was better to choose his own ending. One of the players wanted to attack Yahello, but felt that his body would not move. The angel stopped him and told him not to interfere. Then he tells Yahello that he will tell him about the reward. The item that will drop from him will give him an incredible advantage in future battles. And he guarantees it, so he should take his chance. Yahello realizes that this madman is sending him to his death. People began to discuss that he was going to fight with his bare hands. He must be tired of living or confident in his abilities. The angel asked what his plan was because the monster had a wide attack radius and it was not easy to dodge the sickles. Yahello reviewed the information about him and saw that they were equal in physical strength, but Yahello's endurance and speed were higher. Therefore, the advantage was on his side. So he decided to attack it, but the monster almost caught him with its chains. He realized that he would not be able to dodge the hook, but at first he dodged, and then the monster caught him with the hook anyway. People wondered if he had a plan because he went after the monster with only his fighting spirit. Yahello thought that this time he would surely die, but he was not ready to give up yet. So he decided to use his essence, the taste of steel, and absorbed the hooks, then healed himself. After that, he struck the monster. The players couldn't believe that he had eaten the item and his wounds had healed, so they realized that it was the essence of the taste of steel. Yahello began to fight the monster, but it grabbed him again with its hook, but that didn't stop him. He continued to fight the monster until he completely destroyed it. The players immediately realized that they were facing a great king. What he had done was the essence of a great king. Yahello swallowed the hooks and wondered why he had met these two men. He did not understand how they knew him or why each of them was trying to destroy him, and said that the reasons were unknown to him. But he warned them not to come near him. If they ignored his warning, they should not expect mercy. The people wanted to destroy him because they couldn't lose their chance to become the strongest. But one man pointed out that he had destroyed the monster with his bare hands. So did they really think they were his equal? Were people like them capable of defeating the great king Yahello? The angel said that he was strong and that it was unexpected. He had planned to get rid of him, but this guy took care of Chichek, so he gave him the promised reward. Then he said that he was very interesting. The angel hopes that he will be more active in the future. Then the angel emphasized that everyone had done very well, so it was time to continue the test. As they already know, the goblins were supposed to appear on the second day, but they got a little out of sync with the other areas. While they were having fun in a specially isolated area. Therefore, everyone will go together to a 2-level trial test. After that, people noticed that the tower was rotating and the worlds were overlapping again. The angel said that on the 3rd day of the test, they would be waiting for them in a new arena. So let them survive in the special zone. Yahello hid in a car container and thought about how in just 3 days, the world had turned upside down. Jimin was telling the truth. Many people die during the trial, and what is happening is a drama under the guise of a game. For reasons unknown to him, he is a well-known personality here. Everyone wants to destroy him. His ability is to absorb the items he touches. Attacking just for the sake of them is completely reckless. To survive, he needs skills because those he is dealing with want to destroy him. What is happening does not give him the right to give up. He has a secret book of fist and foot techniques that he received as a reward. He must read the book and learn one of the techniques from rank C to rank A. He began reading the book and felt something strange. Yahello obtained an extremely powerful foot technique. If the power of a technique is increased by the degree of mastery, a special condition is activated. He remembered how he used the technique. An extremely strong foot is based on kicks. But would his level of physical training be enough to handle it? So he decided to try if he understood anything. But after striking, he realized that he had not mastered the technique correctly. Yu Do-hyuk wanted a snack and said it was the hook's turn to be eaten. As he ate it, he experienced maximum pain. Every time he uses this ability, a terrible smell appears. He decided to eat the other hooks because the weapon is quite suitable as food. If only the taste wasn't so disgusting. After ingestion, he received a notification that the excess calories would be converted into coins. He was surprised by the possibility of automatic exchange for coins, and if so, then the taste could be tolerated. After that, he decided to get out of the car. He looked out of the container and thought that everything was quiet around him. So he hoped that nothing would happen if he got out. But then he heard someone sneaking up behind him. The guy said he saw him in action and how he destroyed the named monster. Yu Do-hyuk remembered who it was. He had seen him in the store. After that, the guy called him lucky and said that everything was as usual. Yu Do-hyuk asked who he was and how he knew him. The boy was surprised that he didn't remember anything and called him heartless, then tried to attack him. During the fight, the guy asked what kind of useless attack that was and why he wasn't using his essence. Then he hit him. Yu Do-hyuk fell and the guy said he was disappointed. It turns out that destroying that monster was just luck. He must have lost his memory if he forgot how to fight. After that, Yu Do-hyuk activated an extremely powerful foot technique. Then he attacked his opponent and knocked the weapon out of his hands. The guy noticed that he had changed his movements. Yu Do-hyuk struck again and was delighted that he had succeeded. He finally understood the power of an extremely powerful foot. But the guy came to his senses and said that if he didn't have an item that softened the blow, he would have died. Then he noticed that he was adapting quickly. Yu Do-hyuk asked if he only needed his second essence or if there was another reason, because he probably had enough coins and items to destroy monsters himself. The boy said the reason was simple. Since he had received a divine blessing and lost his memory, he would become the strongest, and he would simply be eliminated so that he would not claim the title again. Everything would happen quickly, and this time he would destroy him. Yu Do-hyuk blocked his attack, and the guy remarked that he was stupid for using the same trick over and over again. Yu Do-hyuk threw sand in his face, which got into his eyes. The guy called him a coward because only he would use dirty tricks. After several blows, Yu Do-hyuk finally defeated his opponent, and his level of extremely powerful kicks increased. The guy said that it was interesting that he defeated him without a weapon, without a powerful item, and even without any memories. But he also received a divine blessing, which he does not remember. He is referring to perfect beings from another world. They interfere in the affairs of their world. The boy laughed, and Yu Do-hyuk asked what was so funny. He said that it was a disgrace and that he was not really that great a king. He is not what he used to be, not number one, not the strongest of the phenomenal nine, not a legendary warrior who rebelled against God, but only a shell. Therefore, he has no chance against God, and next time he will become the great king. After that, the boy died. Yu Do-hyuk doesn't understand what's going on and why he's the only one who doesn't remember anything, so he doesn't know what to do. He took the boy's belongings and jacket and found a map in his pocket. He thought that the god he had heard about was at the marked location. Yu Do-hyuk feels obliged to at least take a look at the one who is considered a perfect being, so he decides to go there. He found a secret place behind the waterfalls and decided to go inside. He became curious to find out what was inside. Then he saw a throne and wondered who was sitting on it. He approached closer and received a message from the goddess Kahura. He must choose her religion and she will guide him. Her voice seemed to sound in his head and something similar had happened before in his room, but he did not understand what was going on. He was amazed that a stone statue could speak. She said her name was Kahura and that she was the queen of hellfire and the creator of this world. She was the ruler he would submit to and serve with his life. Even if he had previously followed other gods, she would illuminate him with the flame of mercy. And she will give him strength if he swears to serve her, so let him kneel, bow his head, and swear allegiance. He asked if he should bow down before the god who had unexpectedly appeared and forced everyone to participate in a dangerous game. A god who plays with people as if they were chess pieces. He remembered the words of Ji-min, who said that he must lead the people to destroy the god. Then he said that he did not need her blessing and that he was not going to follow the god. After that, he fell down and felt as if he were being squeezed. Kahura told him to crawl on the ground until he developed faith. Yu Do-hyuk wondered if everything that had happened was the work of the gods. Because of them, they compete and destroy each other. Knowing this, he should want to submit to faith. Therefore, he said that he would never submit to God. She asked him why he rejected her, and if he had decided to become a sacrificial lamb, she would take his heart. The goddess Kahura appeared before him and wanted to destroy him. After that, the conditions for activating the essence were fulfilled. Kahura asked why he did not want to submit to her, love God, and choose her religion. He laughed at her, and for this sin, he would die. He would be engulfed by hellish flames. But due to the activation of his essence, her power was nullified beyond the horizon. Kahura could not believe that her power had disappeared. After that, she was punished for breaking the rules and lost her status as a goddess. She does not understand why he has a divine essence. After that, the goddess disappeared and the angel sensed danger. The angel did not understand what was happening and said that the goddess Kahura had disappeared. After that, the earth shook and the sky split. Then a power that had lost its master will flare up and burn the whole world to ashes. He asked the angel of power how this was possible. The angel of power said that it happened earlier than planned, but there was nothing to be done. Therefore, he would try to rectify the situation by imposing another world. Then the angel noticed that he had managed to carefully cover the world, and he senses that the strange boy is somewhere nearby. He is surprised that he did not die in the explosion. The angel decided to check if he was alive and found a sword. Then he said that if he had held on a little longer, he could have survived, and it looked like he would have to mourn again. Yu Do-hyuk got out and grabbed him. The angel laughed and said that he had never doubted his special nature. After that, Yu Do-hyuk absorbed the item he had taken from the guy who attacked him and recovered. The angel checked his information and said that he was too ordinary for someone who had survived an explosion. But then he noticed something wrong, so he tried to find something. He looked through all his characteristics and couldn't find what he was looking for. Then he saw something stuck to him and thought it was part of Kahura's spirit. Yu Do-hyuk told him not to touch it. He asked what he was muttering about. The angel said that he had grown up and something like a spirit had stuck to him and saved him. He had weakened, so it attached itself to him very quickly. Then the angel gave him a special reward and said that this time the world had been created unexpectedly. In this world, it would be difficult for him with his level. Therefore, this cube of black fruit would help. Yu Do-hyuk was surprised to receive an aromatic remedy and thought it was another test. The angel said that was correct. The cube could be used for 48 hours. After the time, they would come and exchange the remaining volume for coins, so he should put it carefully in his pocket. Yu Do-hyuk asked why he needed it, and then they noticed something approaching. The angel said that the uninvited guests had arrived. This was to be expected, so he should enjoy himself. Meanwhile, Jimin defeated the monsters and got another bone knife. Normal items never drop from goblins. She put it in the cube and thought about other ways to get cool items and lots of coins. As before, the fastest way was to kill people. Then she heard someone tell her that she was still collecting junk. A man approached her and said that she hadn't changed a bit and was still as pretty as ever. She addressed him by his name, Kan-hu-rak. She said that if he was going to attack her sneakily, he'd better keep his mouth shut. He asked her why she was being so serious. Then he called her heartless and said that they hadn't seen each other in a long time, and that she was probably nervous without Yu Do-hyuk around. But weren't they friends before he returned? Moreover, Yu Do-hyuk doesn't remember anything, so she should leave him and join his party. He would take care of her if she became his. Then he asked her how she liked his item. This time he dropped out of Class A. Jimin hinted that he was finished, and he said that it was fine, but taking her with him against her will wasn't a bad idea either. Kang Ho-rak tried to hit her, but she dodged and attacked him in return. He asked if that was her way of flirting with him. Then she grabbed him, and he called her beautiful and told her not to play with him. She told him that he would die. After a while, he admitted that he was wrong and apologized for behaving childishly. So he suggested they stop and asked if she had gathered her items. Then he offered her his. She said she didn't want anything to do with him and then hit him. Then she went into the building and a man named Julian told her that he was younger than her and didn't expect anything else. She knocked him out in 2 seconds. She asked if he wanted to have some fun. Julian told her not to look at him like that because he didn't come there to fight. If she knew, he was still gathering a team. She said she had no desire to join his gang. Julian said that it seemed like Yu Do-hyuk was dead because if he were alive, they would have already reported it to him, but the information had not yet been verified. Had she heard about the disappearance of those with 2 souls? He didn't know where he was, but could a guy who lost his memory survive the ordeal? Before his return, he was called the Great King, but he must have died. A person with his essence must always be on guard. Julian offered her to cooperate because he was more suited than others to lead humanity and told her to forget about Yu Do-hyuk. After that, Jimin ran away from them at great speed, leaving only a trail behind her. Julian said that it looked like he had been abandoned. Jimin was sure that it didn't matter how strong he used to be. The strong must protect the weak. Then and now are different, because now he knows nothing about this world. Yu Do-hyuk was afraid that he would be destroyed. Jimin tried to pull herself together. Now she has to gather many items before meeting him, so she continued to destroy monsters, hoping that Yu Do-hyuk was alive. Yu Do-hyuk was sitting in a cave, but someone found him again. The man decided to destroy him with a rock. So he threw a large rock directly at him, but Yu Do-hyuk noticed this and destroyed it, then jumped out of the cave. When he got to the surface, he saw that the man had left his outer clothes and bag, so he thanked him. But he was surprised how someone could leave such valuable things behind. Then he heard people talking. They were delighted to have finally found a place to hide from the sun where they would not even have to use the cube. The man asked if they had any water left and asked for some, but the girl refused because he had just been drinking. He told her to stop joking and asked why she was responsible for the water, while he had to carry a dirty, heavy bag. Another girl asked if anyone had asked him to come with them. The portable altar only gives abilities to the first 3 believers. To awaken them, they decided to work together until they found a victim, and if he didn't believe them, he'd better go there himself. Moreover, he was old enough to understand that everyone was responsible for their words. The man called her a fanatic. Another girl asked them to be quiet because she heard something. She has the ability to be a bird during the day and a mouse at night. Therefore, she can hear and feel more than others and noticed that one user was watching them. So she said that someone was there, only she couldn't determine where exactly he was. Then she gave the girl named Jin A some water. Jin A drank the water and the conditions for activating her essence, the nose of the thief, were fulfilled. She maximized her sense of smell by using the water from her body and said that the smell was unfamiliar to her. Then she said that he was there. The man said that the victim had been found at the right time, so he would bring him. In the meantime, they should prepare the altar. The girl stopped him and said that caution would not hurt. She used her essence again and was unable to find the object, so she told him to stop and not rush. The man asked why he should be afraid and did not notice that Yu Do-hyuk had attacked him. The girls recognized him. Yu Do-hyuk defeated his opponent and took his cube. The girl knew that he had lost his memory and noticed that he was aiming at her cube, or the coins. But there was no point in fighting him. Then Jinnah took out the altar and the girl thought she was right. If they gave him the altar, they would be able to save themselves. But Jinnah apologized to her and struck her. Then she said that she was afraid that she would want to give him the altar and believers must not retreat. The girl asked what she was thinking. After that, Jinnah received God's blessing and rejoiced. She sacrificed her friend and said that she would not give him up to anyone. The god Kakudenal came out of the altar and told her to bow before him, and asked if she was a believer who desired to receive the power of this body. She said that she was, and that she was his faithful believer, Jinnah. Therefore, the god told her to rise. But not all the conditions for activation had been met, and the god was disappointed by her weakness. Therefore, he said that she was too weak, and now she must give her flesh and blood and become food for the god. She said that she had given her blood as a sacrifice and did not know that there were any other hidden conditions. God destroyed her, and Yu Do-hyuk watched this and saw information about this named monster on the screen. At that moment, an angel flew to him and said that it seemed like the end had come for him. Kakudenula's armor is the best. Compared to Chichek, this type of combat equipment has unbiased attacks and a complete lack of intelligence, so he could easily defeat his current opponent. Yu Do-hyuk told the angel to either help him or get out of there. The angel called him a thorn. Then he said he would look at the number on the cube and see how many he had destroyed, and asked if he didn't want to receive the reward for first place. If he does everything right in 48 hours, he will raise his level. They are lower class beings and are ready to destroy each other for profit. Yu Do-hyuk noticed the cube that belonged to the girl. There were only a few seconds left until the end of the item collection, so he quickly ran to grab the cube. He grabbed it and threw it to the angel. The angel said he barely made it. He had already given up hope that he would succeed. Yu Do-hyuk asked if he enjoyed watching him fight for his life. Yu Do-hyuk took first place in the area and received a reward as well as a ticket to summon a vendor. He decided that it didn't matter for now and spent his coins on improving his abilities first. After that, he began his battle with the god. Kakudenal proved to be strong, but his attack worked. He used the first level salamander trident. But Kakudenal grabbed him. Yu Do-hyuk decided to activate the essence of steel taste and engulfed his hand. He really succeeded, and his hand was counted as an ultim. Last time with the goddess, it wasn't like that. So he decided to invest all his coins in stats. Then he wondered if he could touch this god and tried to attack him. He noticed that the attack radius had increased and it would now be more difficult to close the distance. Kakudenal separated his arm. The angel watched this and said that it was very impressive, but the human's chance of success was 0. Other angels flew down to watch the battle and were amazed when they saw the armor. They were sure that he could not be defeated. So they told the angel to stop watching this boring spectacle and join them because they had found a wonderful young man. He received an S-class item from Yama, and it seems his name is Chang Hong. Now the guy ranks first in the rating for the number of enemies destroyed. The angel said he didn't want to join them, but let them have their fun. Now he wants to see how his guy dies. Yu Do-hyuk continued to fight and realized that he needed to heal himself quickly with essence because he had lost a lot of blood. After that, he found a metal object in the sand. It was an ancient F-class bracelet, but it wasn't enough to heal him. To heal completely, he needed an item at least as powerful as the one he had received from Chichek, but then he thought about it and wanted to take his hand back. However, Kakudenal cut off his other hand. Yu Do-hyuk waited for him to come closer. Kakudenal stepped on his hand and Yu Do-hyuk began to absorb him. Thanks to this, his hands were restored, and he defeated the monster. His ability to absorb items he touched with his hands allowed him to heal all his wounds, even after they were severed. Then he decided to devour the monster completely. The angel was surprised that this guy had emerged victorious. After that, the god Kakudenal expressed his favor. Yu Do-hyuk felt a voice in his head saying that this was very good. Kakudenal unexpectedly rose and tried to attack him. Yu Do-hyuk did not understand why he suddenly attacked him, and then said that it was perfect. So now he would devour him completely, down to the last cell. After that, the divine power nullified the effect of the entity and the object that softened the blows. He continued to fight the monster until the goddess appeared. She said that he was good, and that the last attack was very painful. Yu Do-hyuk couldn't move and thought that the previous goddess felt the same way. The deity Kakudenal ordered him to bow before him. He also demanded that he give up his body and soul, swear allegiance, and love him. But then the system announced that the message limit had been reached. The goddess told the angel not to interfere and struck him. He said that he had nothing to do with it, and that it was the system's decision. Yu Do-hyuk said enough and asked if she wanted to talk. Since he could hear her, he suggested they talk. The angel felt that she had let him go because she was interested in this player. The goddess suggested that Yu Do-hyuk play with her. He asked what that meant, and she said that she liked him. The angel was surprised and asked if she had decided to replace the apostle. She said that he would become stronger than the others, and if her feelings were mutual, she could give him the ability to destroy the entire world. The angel said that such a monster could not have been summoned from above, and decided that he must tell the angel of power everything. But she stopped him and repeated to Yu Do-hyuk that she liked him. He was better than the current child of the apostle, and she thought he could cheer her up. Therefore, she said she would make him an apostle, but he refused. The goddess asked why he had suddenly changed his mind, or if she had heard her correctly. Did he really not want to become an apostle? Yu Do-hyuk said he would not believe the words of a god like her. The angel asked if he had lost his mind. The goddess said that he should perish then. Yu Do-hyuk said that Kahura had said the same thing, and that he did not want to listen to their nonsense about granting power, demanding only that he bow down before them. Moreover, she certainly cannot destroy him because of the rules of the system. He still felt anger towards gods like Kahura, and wondered if it was because he had destroyed one of them in a past life. Yu Do-hyuk called her spoiled and insolent. He has no intention of devoting his life to such a frivolous creature as her, and he does not accept her as a god. She approached him and said that she liked him and would make him her property. She asked him why he was trembling and what was wrong with him, and said that a god should not interfere in the affairs of non-believers and those who do not pray to him. But before the system makes a decision and something happens to him, she will get into his mind. The goddess laughed because he was trembling with fear like a leaf. She had a feeling that he was about to stop breathing. She asked him if he thought she was terrible for squeezing him so tightly that he couldn't move. Only a fool would be rude and refuse her. So here is a gift for him, a tattoo, the sign of a true god. It was different from the one the woman who had been eaten had. With it, he would never forget her. Yu Do-heok received the symbol of the kiss of the god of battle. Then she said it was time for her to go, but they did not say goodbye. Yu Do-heok breathed a sigh of relief that she had finally freed him from her captivity. The angel said that it was dangerous. After that, Yu Do-heok decided to absorb part of Kakudinol's armor, but the system informed him that the power of the divine object nullifies the effect of the entity and the artifact that softens blows. He knew that he wouldn't be able to absorb the armor, so he decided to deal with the reward. Yu Do-heok received the item. The angel said that everything was bad and that he had started it all for nothing. Then he asked Yu Do-heok what he wanted. He replied that he didn't want to repeat himself several times, but he had saved him twice. Therefore, he should be paid for his services. The angel said that it wasn't funny and how could a lower being dare to want to devour an angel? Yu Do-heok struck him. Then he decided to use the item he had received as a reward, hoping that it would help. A merchant came to him through the portal and started looking for his client. Yu Do-heok said he was here. Seeing him, the merchant asked how he was doing, and he replied that he wasn't doing very well. The merchant offered him something to use. It is a water bag of the Mukasa tribe. It is a practical magical item created using secret technology. The merchant showed him the items he had. He greeted him again and said his name was Mukasa Lawrence Fletcher. He was a traveling salesman. He traveled the world and offered only first-class goods, but he could take his time looking at everything while he rested after his journey. Lawrence asked if it was his first time using the merchant's services, and Yu Do-heok replied that it was. So he said he would explain everything to him. The ticket he used allows him to call a representative of Mukasa's trading company at any time and anywhere. In fact, it was not easy to obtain. But this time, he agreed to sell the ticket at a special price. Only 500,000 coins. Yu Do-heok was surprised by the amount. Lawrence said he understood how he felt, so he asked how about 200,000. Yu Do-heok received 45,000 coins for destroying Kakudinol, and that was all he had. So he told Lawrence about it, and Lawrence was surprised that he only had 45,000 coins. He said the competition between shops had been fierce lately. He hoped that a worthy customer would appear. But he had called him just to look around and not buy anything. Yu Do-heok said he had money. Lawrence said it didn't matter, because he was poor anyway. Yu Do-heok said that this was an unexpected turn of events, and that he had indeed called him just like that. Lawrence asked about the ticket. He was curious how a poor man like him got it. Yu Do-heok replied that he received a special reward for the cube quest. He said he should have guessed. He probably didn't even know what the ticket was for. He was summoned to a world where enlightenment had just begun. So he asked his client if he usually didn't read the precautions before using something. Yu Do-heok said no, he wasn't the type to read instructions. Lawrence asked if he knew what he was selling. Yu Do-heok said no, he didn't. Lawrence said that he sold items from Class B and above. They were of excellent quality with a wide range of items and call tickets. Therefore, the customer must be suitable, and because of his call, he missed an important deal and lost everything. Yu Do-heok told him to calm down. Lawrence asked how he could be calm in such a situation. Then he took out his bag, and Yu Do-heok asked what it was, and he replied that he didn't know. Now he needs to go back because he is upset about his bad luck. Yu Do-heok wanted to drink the water he gave him, but Lawrence said to give it back because it wasn't a gift. Yu Do-heok said he shouldn't have touched the ticket and then threw the bag at him. Yu Do-heok took the god's armor, and Lawrence asked if it was his and what he planned to do with that piece of metal. He said that he couldn't use the essence in it. Lawrence said that you can't throw trash around. It harms the environment, and maybe he would give it to him for recycling. Yu Do-heok said he didn't want to give it away. Lawrence called him sir and said that he was very rude, but the fact that he called him was a sign of destiny, and he was willing to buy the item at a high price. Yu Do-heok asked how much he was offering, and he replied that he would give him 200,000 coins. He would also give him a ticket to call his younger colleagues. In total, it would be about 700,000, and if he ordered something from them, he would receive a large discount. Yu Do-heok did not know what to do. Lawrence said that he would not let him go until he sold him the cuirass. He offered to exchange it for one of the items he liked, for example, for weapons or gloves. After all, he has wonderful things and they sell like hotcakes, so he offered to make the exchange right now. Yu Do-heok agreed, but if he wants to trade, they'll start with 1,000,000 coins. So let him not miss out on his deal. Lawrence asked if he thought he was some kind of fool to take 3 times the price from him. Then Lawrence saw the angel and was very frightened. Yu Do-heok asked what happened, then saw the angel and asked what he wanted. The angel asked who else he had saved. Yu Do-heok said that he had saved him, but he had the right to deny it. He was the only angel who could not raise his head in the presence of God, and poured out his anger on a lower creature, which was a real irony. The angel became angry with him and told him to shut up. Then he attacked him and said that this time he would pretend he hadn't heard anything. Yu Do-heok dodged the attack. The angel said that if he said such words again, he should not expect mercy. So let him remember that, and even this cuirass would not save him. Yu Do-heok took the armor and asked if it was women's armor. He wondered how one could wear it, but then the armor pulled itself toward him. This armor was light but strong, and surely the angel knew that it could change its appearance. Only Yu Do-heok did not know this. Lawrence said that he probably wouldn't get the rare item. Then he saw that his precious goods had been destroyed. This was a great misfortune for him, and now he would not be able to sell them. Yu Do-heok said he did not know what he needed them for, but offered a deal. If he still couldn't sell them at a reasonable price, he was willing to buy them cheaper if that suited him. Lawrence thought that he had deliberately teamed up with the angel to rob him. A little more and he would be ruined, but then he tried to calm down and agreed. So he said he would give him 40,000. Yu Do-heok replied that he would give him 10,000, and in addition he had to give him water, food, and clothes. Lawrence said that this was daylight robbery but agreed. Yu Do-heok tried on the clothes and said that they fit. After that, Lawrence opened his portal and asked if that was all he had to say and said he would never come back. Yu Do-hyuk wondered how anyone could be a merchant with such an attitude toward customers, and then decided that he needed to get rid of Mari's call ticket. He decided to examine one of the items he had received from the merchant, but did not understand what it was, and there were no instructions. So he unwrapped it and saw that it was an ordinary sleeping bag called a godmother's cradle. It warns of approaching enemies and checks psychological status, but due to external damage, most functions are unavailable. Yu Do-hyuk decided to rest, but he heard a voice in his head saying that he looked tired and asked who was there. He heard the voice again telling him not to be afraid. Yu Do-hyuk thought it was God again and that he must not fall asleep. But the voice said that it was time to sleep and that he should trust her. She would calm his mind and body. One of the players who was killing people, named Zhang Hong, was waiting for Yu Do-hyuk because he also wanted to kill him. Yu Do-hyuk woke up in bed and didn't understand how he got there and thought that he must not be fully awake. The angel said that it was the 8th day of enlightenment and that while he was comfortably settled and sleeping, he had brought him here. Now he should follow him. Yu Do-hyuk asked what the noise was, and he replied that it was the sounds of the game. While he was cooling off, the tournament between the zones was already coming to an end. As always, the winner would receive a wonderful reward, but if he did not want to die, he could refuse. It so happened that everyone except him had either retreated or died in a duel with one person, so now he was his only opponent. Therefore, the final battle was between them. Chang Hong told him to get up in the arena for battle, and that by destroying him, he would prove his strength and abilities. Yu Do-hyuk revealed his status, and the angel asked if he was afraid of him. He replied that of course he was afraid, but how could he give up now? Therefore, it is better to die in battle. Yu Do-hyuk improved his physical strength and endurance and then entered the arena. Chang Hong called him the former Great King and said that his very existence was preventing him from becoming the new Great King. Yu Do-hyuk asked why everyone was targeting this place. In this crazy world, did he really only desire a title? By working together, they could try to return to their world. Zhang Hong laughed and called him a coward. He attacked him, saying that the law of natural selection was at work here. Power was everything, and he was weak. Chang Hong used the essence of gravitational pressure. Yu Do-hyuk couldn't believe that his essence had warped the earth. He felt himself being pulled and realized that Chang Hong was about to grab him. So he decided to use the first trident of the salamander. But his opponent blocked the attack with his hand, then grabbed him and said that he was finished. Chang Hong used the gravitational equation. Yu Do-hyuk saw that people were in danger and decided that they had to be saved. His opponent began to destroy people and said that they were in his way. Then he asked Yu Do-hyuk where he had gone. Yu Do-hyuk attacked him and landed several blows. Chang Hoon received a message that the god of battle, Mashub, was disappointed by the believer's powerlessness. He asked the god to wait. Yu Do-hyuk realized that he had managed to break through after all, and that he would prevail. But Chang Hong told him not to be arrogant and struck him. But then something began to happen. Chang Hong asked the god to give him a chance. But Mashub said that he had disappointed him, and after that the soul was transferred into the believer's body. Mashub said that even with his blessing, he was not good enough. Therefore, as the god of battle, he would personally destroy him. Yu Do-hyuk was enraged that another deity had descended from heaven and asked if this was acceptable. Could a god intervene directly in battle? Especially since he forces people to participate in enlightenment. Mashub said that it did not matter. This man is a believer and bowed before him. God is free to use the body of a follower as he sees fit, but he saw a symbol on his cheek. This meant that Kakudinul favored him. After that, Mashub attacked him. And he said that he would not forgive him if his follower lost to someone like him. Mashub struck him several times and called him weak. He even found it funny that a young man with such pitiful abilities dared to challenge him. Yu Do-hyuk said that it was interesting to see how strong the god was, and it turned out that he was not very strong because he was still alive. Mashub grabbed him and said that now it was clear how he had hurt Kakudinul, and that perhaps his body was better than his, so he would give him a chance to live. But he must remove the symbol of that god from his cheek, then bow before him and receive the power of this body. Yu Do-hyuk said that all gods say the same thing, about faith and bowing down, but why did he need their blessings? He was tired of it, and it didn't matter if he was a god or something else, but it wasn't right to look down on people from above. Mashub became angry and asked how an insect dared to mock a god. With the power of this body, he would crush him. But the goddess intervened in their fight and told him not to touch him, because this little one is special. She kissed Yu Do-hyuk and thus entered his body. Then she said that she liked him. Mashub asked how she dared to interfere and told her not to meddle in their affairs. Kakudinul said that he was the one who started the fight between the children and that he was his believer. But why did she have to change him so much? He asked how she was better since she had taken the power of a man who was not even his believer and now decided to teach him. Kakudinul struck him and asked if he had cooled down. Mashub asked if she really thought she had won. He only has one arm, so she shouldn't get cocky. So Kakudinul suggested continuing. Mashub told her not to joke with him, because he would make her cry. She told him to try, and if the dog completely took control of his body, they would compare their positions. She decided to use the spirit of the puppet master god. Then she struck him several times and asked how he was. She said that he was annoying him, but then she defeated him anyway. The angel thought that the gods had gone mad, because they had possessed humans and were fighting each other. But why was this happening now? Kakudinul turned to the angels. She said that they had gone too far with their rules and asked why they couldn't leave her baby alone, because she liked him very much. She was itching to crush them all, and he was desperately trying to be the first. But she didn't care about his excuses. She would go to their beloved before he woke up so that he could take care of him and protect him from all those who were just waiting for an opportunity to attack him. Kakudinul looked at the Angel of Strength and thought that he could see nothing beyond his rules. After that, her time in the body was up. She said that he had great willpower and that she could no longer hold out. But still, he was the best. After that, she left. The angel did not understand why it was always him. Yu Do-hyuk came to his senses and felt intense pain. He activated a secret technique of an extremely powerful foot and received the divine technique of the crazy dance of martial arts. The angel said that he had activated the divine technique against his will without having sufficient ability, and his muscles had suffered. He himself is now unconscious. The players cannot believe that Chang-hoon has been defeated. One of them asked if he could defeat that guy. Another asked if he had lost his mind, since the deity had told the angel to protect him. The angel announced that the tournament was over. The initial trials for all zones are also complete, and they were not easy. But from this moment on, the game will begin. So let them not lose their vigilance in order to cope with the next trial. The angel asked another angel named Basil what they should do and whether it would be better to just leave the boy there and go. He replied that he should go first because he was not in the mood to talk to him. He would stay to watch over the boy until he woke up. Yu Do-hyuk woke up in his sleeping bag from a stone hitting him, and the angel Bezel asked him how long he was going to sleep and told him to get up. He said that he had only lost consciousness for a moment. Then he saw the sleeping bag and asked where his things were, or if he had taken them. Bezel said he didn't know anything and told him to get up if he was awake. To be honest, he had wasted several days watching over him. During those 4 days while some were sleeping, the world had been rearranged, so they had to leave. Yu Do-hyuk was surprised that he had slept for so long. Bezel said that this was no longer the place where he had undergone his trials. The borders that divided the world into regions were also gone. Until now, those like him with 2 entities and those who were very cruel during the Enlightenment were divided according to their characteristics and strengths. Each group went to their own zone to compete with each other, and the sorting was almost complete. Now everyone was waiting for the main trial. There was half an hour left before it began, and he had slept too long. Yu Do-hyuk said that it was even better that way. Because what would he have done all this time if he had woken up earlier? Bezel told him to stop fooling around. Then he gave him a reward for the previous battle. Yu Do-hyuk asked what it was and then saw in his status that his stats had increased. Compared to when his abilities were at level 17, even his body felt lighter. Yu Do-hyuk asked what it was. This thing is a tyrant's compass. It points to a person with the same or similar needs or desires as the owner. Desires refer to needs other than the instinct for survival. Yu Do-hyuk opened the compass but said that there was no reaction at the moment. He has many desires, for example, money, career, and popularity. But now none of that matters. He only wants to find Jimin. Instead of reflecting, you need to move forward. No matter what the main challenge is, he will definitely not give up. Yu Do-hyuk jumped off the cliff and landed with the help of an extremely powerful foot technique. His body's physical abilities are now so incredible that he cannot stop competing. His compass is not responding, and if he wants to go to the Black Tower, there is a high chance that he will stray from the path and get lost. Therefore, he would really need the paths of animals or the tracks of other people right now. Then he saw that the color of the ground was different in one area. He wanted to touch it because he thought it was someone's footprint, but then a giant monster climbed out of the hole. Yu Do-hyuk didn't know what to do, so he decided to run away. This monster was not an item, and he definitely couldn't defeat it with his abilities. He ran away thinking that the monster had given up and left, but then he saw that it was still there. This monster was too big for a crab. Therefore, for his own safety, he has to avoid the strange colored stone. Yu Do-hyuk doesn't notice that someone else is approaching him. A giant bird grabbed him, and Yu Do-hyuk said that something was wrong again. Then he realized that it couldn't swallow him either. He broke free and fell, but there he was grabbed by a giant lizard. Yu Do-hyuk couldn't believe that this had happened again, and decided that he'd had enough. So he struck the lizard and destroyed it. Yu Do-hyuk realized that this world belonged to monsters. Then the monster that had been chasing him approached him. He dealt with it, then struck the bird that had grabbed him, and after that decided to check his compass. But there was still no reaction from it, and he did not know where to go. In his opinion, the world had been turned upside down. Kakudenal said she would give him a wonderful remedy to restore his strength, and he received an item from the deity. The goddess told him to take it, and his energy would be restored immediately. But he decided not to do so and threw the remedy away. Then he said that he would not talk to her, and that she should also be kind and not talk to him. He felt as if the ordinary everyday life he had led just a few days ago was a mirage. He never thought that his trips to university, jokes and arguments with friends over trifles, falling in love and cooking would become routine. Nor did he think that going to the gym for the sake of someone he liked would become routine. He shouted for them to bring back the world he knew, but his scream was heard by the monster. Yu Do-hyuk tried not to catch his eye. After that, the compass reacted to his desire. And what he wants is at the end of the beam, so he decided to set off right away. If the compass was to be believed, what he was looking for was somewhere around here. He saw a notification on the screen that there were only a few minutes left before the test began. There were people in that place, and they were probably all from the same team. One of the guys shouted to another that it was too dangerous to enter the cave. Those who had already tried had died, and if he wanted to get in, he had to go first. But the guy didn't have time to finish, because the person he was talking to hit him and told him not to point his finger at him. He told the other members of the team that they had survived the ordeal only thanks to Julian. Some of them wanted to say something, but he asked them to be quiet and said that the most valuable item was there. They didn't have time to figure everything out. When the main test begins and it appears with his essence, there will be no problems, but what about them? So let him take it and report from time to time on this device about what is happening. And now we need to move forward and find the item as quickly as possible. Then he said that a rat seemed to be approaching them and told him not to hide and to come out. Yu Do-hyuk came out and said to wait a minute because he did not plan to fight. The man asked who he was but then recognized him. He admitted that he did not expect to see the great king in such a city. Therefore, he decided to introduce himself. He was Kim In-ho, Julian's subordinate. He was glad that he had survived the ordeal, but unfortunately, he had also survived. Moreover, his memories remained with him. Kim In-ho attacked Yu Do-hyuk and decided to absorb his weapon. Kim In-ho asked if he thought he didn't know his true nature. Yu Do-hyuk wanted to attack him, but Kim In-ho grabbed his leg. Yu Do-hyuk was surprised that he did that with his physique. Kim In-ho said that his true nature allowed him to walk anywhere, even on water. Then he decided to check when the trial would begin. He saw that there were less than 2 minutes left before the trial began. Therefore, he wanted to deal with him as quickly as possible. Yoo Do-hyuk grabbed his arm, but he told him that he wouldn't be able to do anything. Yoo Do-hyuk asked if he was in a hurry. The test began, and the ban on the Bamura Desert ecosystem was completely lifted. 26 objects were released. Kim In-ho said they needed to get out of there quickly, then saw a shadow. The monster that appeared immediately destroyed him. Yoo Do-hyuk saw it and realized that this was no joke. It was much bigger than the previous monsters. So he decided to run away. He opened the status and saw that it was Setica, a humanoid plant that appears where the sun shines. In places where sunlight does not penetrate, it falls into suspended animation. Yoo Do-hyuk tried to find a dark place, and a cave was perfect for that. Then he heard a voice warning them not to come in, but it seemed that the warning would not reach them until they died. Everyone who comes here is just wasting their life, so let them attack him and not waste time. They wouldn't have the courage to come out anyway. Yoo Do-hyuk said he wasn't looking for a fight and only needed shelter, but if he attacks first, they'll have to fight. Then the voice told him to wait a minute and asked if he was really Yoo Do-hyuk. Yoo Do-hyuk thought that it must be someone else who was interested in him. The man told him not to come any closer, because if he touched him, he would die. Yoo Do-hyuk asked what had happened to him and why his body was like that. He replied that it was flickering jade, so he should be careful. It would start to crumble as soon as he touched it, just like the others. He was lucky because his essence was reborn, and thanks to that he was able to survive. He hadn't seen him in a long time, but it was him. The man said he was very happy to see him, and that his daughter would also be happy to see him. Yoo Do-hyuk asked what daughter he meant. So the man said that it seemed that the rumors that he remembered nothing were indeed true. Then he said that his name was Cho Min-gu. His beloved daughter's name was Hai Yeon. Fortunately, Jade couldn't get to her because he had placed her in a core that he had installed in the frame. Therefore, other objects cannot touch her, and until she regains her essence, he protects her from outside attacks. This time, he must save his daughter. Cho Min-gu asked if he was hungry. He had plenty of supplies here, but he should beware of the jades around him. Yoo Do-hyuk swallowed the equipment, and Cho Min-gu said that it tasted like steel and that he was the same. Then he asked if he would like to try the meat. It was the meat of a giant crab on a spit, so he should eat it while it was hot. He had taken it from one of the enemies who had come here. It must be very tasty. Yoo Do-hyuk decided to try it, and Cho Min-gu asked if it was delicious, and he replied that it was really tasty. Then he asked what his relationship with him was and what he knew about him. Cho Min-gu said that he was a benefactor who saved his daughter's life. They met him before returning on the 8th day of the trial. Cho Min-gu ran away with his daughter from the monsters. His daughter couldn't run fast. Cho Min-gu told her to run faster so they wouldn't die. Then a monster approached them. But suddenly he appeared before the tireless and invincible goblins and dealt with all the monsters without even blinking an eye. After that, he led them to a cave where other people were, including Ji-min, who praised him for his excellent work. He introduced him to his daughter and everyone else and said that from now on, they would be part of their team. So now they were also their family. Everyone immediately noticed Hee-yeon and asked her name and if she played sports. A man also approached them and said that it was safe here. They didn't want to fight unnecessarily, and he needed some extra hands to set up a barricade. That's how they became part of his group and found a place to stay. Until then, all they had thought about was how to survive. But after meeting him, their anxiety turned into hope for a full life in a new world. But soon they were left alone. The group that took them in was a place where cooperation, trust, and peace reigned. The number of members grew every day, but other teams conspired against them. They waited for an opportunity to attack, and when he left to defend the stronghold, they attacked. To carry out the plan, they sent a girl who said she had escaped from bandits and asked for help. The members of the group asked her to step back a few steps, raise her hands, and not move, and asked if she was alone. Then a man came out to check that she had no weapons. Another told him that raising her hands would not save him. But the guy said not to worry about it and told him not to do anything suspicious to her, and then she would get some hot food. So he said he would quickly check her, and they would go inside because it was cold outside. But the girl attacked him. She also dealt with the other guy and then went inside with the rest of the team and said that the party was starting. Cho Min-gu returned and saw that his daughter had died. Yoo Do-hyuk ordered the survivors to wait and went out into the street. When he returned, he didn't say a word, but words were unnecessary because he was covered in blood from head to toe. Then Yoo Do-hyuk said he was leaving and that he didn't care if they followed him or stayed and joined the other groups. Now everyone was on their own. Cho Min-gu said he couldn't leave his daughter. Even though he had saved them once, he hoped she would forgive him. Cho Min-gu had lost the meaning of life, so he didn't want to go anywhere and only dreamed of death. But because of his nature, all attempts at rebirth were futile. He spent his days thinking of different ways to take his own life until one day he learned of the existence of the Cannibal Cave, where all substances melt away without leaving a trace. Now they are in it, and it is called the Green and Yellow Mine. Yoo Do-hyuk said that this was why he looked like that. Cho Min-gu replied that it was true. He jumped into the cave where a huge piece of jade lay. His body melted and then was reborn. The same thing happened again and again. He struggled with pain and suffering and sank deeper and deeper into the jade, until he touched his heart with his hand and absorbed the mineral, and when he came to, a membrane of light protected the jade from disintegrating. The green-yellow mineral is a rare item that gives additional essence. The fact that he got it meant that he did not succeed in dying as he wanted. Ironically, his second essence also had to do with survival. At first, he began to walk around looking for places to die. Then he heard about people who had rebelled against God, and one of them was the Great King. He thought the world would become a better place through his intervention. The last thing he remembers is someone telling him to wake up. The voice told the souls of the defeated that he would give them a second chance and preserve their memories. And then he found himself with his daughter in his world. After that, he and his daughter ran without hesitation into the cave when they found themselves here again. He jumped into the jade again, took the mineral, and forced his daughter to swallow it. Presumably due to unexpected contact with it, she lost her mind. That is why she is still asleep. Cho Min-gu asked to take his daughter with him because he wants her to survive. Yoo Do-hyuk said he understood, but he has no memories left. Cho Min-gu said he would not leave empty-handed. The boots are the only Class A ultims in this area. They belong to him and he knows where they are. After he finds them, he should look for a man named Han Jae-hoon. As far as he knows, they were comrades, and he even gave his life for him. If he works with him again, he will be able to raise his status. In exchange for this information, he asks for protection for his daughter. Yoo Do-hyuk saw that someone had contacted him through the communication shell. He took it from his previous rival and said he was listening to him. He said it was Julian. Even if he has to sacrifice all his subordinates, he must get him that thing, and he will come as soon as the sun sets. Yoo Do-hyuk did not lose his composure and pretended to be his subordinate Kim In-ho, and said that everything had gone smoothly and that their squad would soon join him. Julian said that finally the boots of the former great king Yoo Do-hyuk belonged to him. Cho Min-gu asked who he had just been talking to, and he replied that the man had introduced himself as Julian. He said that he had found the boots and would be there soon. Cho Min-gu said that it was dangerous and that he was probably after the green and yellow mineral. Yoo Do-hyuk asked who Julian was, and he replied that he was a schemer who led a powerful team and had previously been his friend. He asked why they didn't just talk to him. Cho Min-gu said that he used to be a good guy, but there was no guarantee that he still was. If the groups trying to enter the cave were normal, they wouldn't have such a strange smell. These madmen have a peculiar odor. Julian and his subordinates went to the cave, and one of his subordinates said that the boots suited him. He found them before they returned, but gave them to the Great King. Then he corrected himself and said that they belonged to the former Great King, so they returned to their rightful owner. Julian thought that Yoo Do-hyuk was the first to find them. If it weren't for the essence that allowed him to survive critical moments, he would have died. It was Yoo Do-hyuk who defeated the named monster, the sacred mummy that guarded the item, and also dealt with the pterosaur. His companions could not defeat it. He did everything on his own. This fighter seemed to have been born for this crazy world. Such was the Great King. He did not allow the weak to shed their tears and blood, and everyone agreed with his words. Julian also made this mistake because he thought they were his equals, but the thing is, Yoo Do-hyuk took a step back, all in order to fit in with those around him, and even he was weak compared to him. But now everything has changed because he has received the shitlets. And now Yoo Do-hyuk is no longer special, and when Julian gets the item that gives him a second essence, he will become special. They almost reached the cave, and the subordinate looked through the binoculars and said that no one was there, and In-ho was not there. Julian said not to lose vigilance. When they reached the cave, the subordinate went inside and called out to In-ho, saying that it was Ivan. Julian decided to contact him through the shell. Ivan told the others to go inside and shine a light, but Cho Min-gu came out and said they were too late. He had already given the mineral to his daughter, so they should leave. One of the men asked who he was and told him not to bother him and his companions. Cho Min-gu told them not to come closer or they would die. The man replied that he would try once and attacked him, and his body began to disintegrate. Julian said not to waste time and burn everything there. Cho Min-gu begged him not to do that because his daughter was still asleep. But Julian said not to interfere because this precious stone could not belong to someone like him. But then he heard someone calling him through the shell and decided to listen. He heard a familiar voice saying that he wanted the stiblets, and asked if he would give them to him. Julian replied that they belonged to him. Yoo Do-hyuk asked if this was really true, and then challenged him to a fight. If he won, he would get his essence, and if he lost, he would return the shoes. Julian told him not to waste his time, and didn't know what to do. Yoo Do-hyuk came out to them and called him an envious person who didn't even have the courage to fight. All he could do was steal other people's things. Hearing these words, his subordinates did not understand what was happening, but they recognized that he was a great king. Julian was enraged by these words. Yoo Do-hyuk asked what was wrong and why he felt ill. Then he ordered his men to attack the essence and the stiblets. He ordered Ivan to do his job and thought about how his target was now the green and yellow mineral. But now there was someone here who had a taste for steel. Therefore, he did not know what to choose. But then he decided to attack him anyway. However, Yoo Do-hyuk immediately struck him. His subordinates also attacked him, and Julian asked what was wrong with them since he was alone. So let them defeat him with their numbers. One of his subordinates said that he had just looked at him. He possesses the essence of the Gorgon's gaze. Everyone who looked at him began to turn to stone. Julian's subordinates surrounded him on all sides. Yoo Do-hyuk fought off the attack and absorbed their weapons. A subordinate with the gaze of the Gorgon Medusa crept up to him to attack, thinking that he had succeeded. But Yoo Do-hyuk immediately destroyed him and absorbed his weapon. The wound he had tried to inflict with his gaze began to disappear. The subordinate saw that he had absorbed the weapons and all his wounds had disappeared, so they began to flee. But then Julian entered the battle. He fulfilled the conditions for activating the essence of magic release and said that he had reappeared to stop him. Yoo Do-hyuk said that he had no idea what he was talking about. Julian did not understand how a guy with no memories could knock him off his feet. He wants to defeat the Great King, but he began to lose to him and Yoo Do-hyuk struck him hard and Julian lost consciousness. Yoo Do-hyuk felt a sharp pain in his arm. Cho Min-gu asked if he was okay, and he replied that he was and that he would feel better soon. Meanwhile, Julian found the goddess's pills that Yoo Do-hyuk had thrown away next to him. One pill erases thoughts and emotions. They also activate suppressing abilities. They have side effects, but now is not the time to worry about such things, so let him eat them quickly. And after that, he would be happy. Julian ate the pill and felt incredible strength. Magic overflowed him. He turned into a monster and said he felt like he was at his best. Kakudenul said that was what he needed. She had prepared them especially for him. But why did he throw them here? Julian said that it was very good that the pain and suffering were over. He grabbed Yu Do-hyuk and said that he was the former great king who would never recover and would no longer be able to use his essence. Therefore, he was no longer worthy of being called a great king. Julian damaged his hands and then wanted to do the same to his legs. After that, he used his magical 6 arms and began to strike Yu Do-hai blow after blow, saying that his armor was very strong. It was excellent material, so he would take the cuirass for himself. Cho Min-gu said that things were bad. He was going to give this dagger to Barakida's daughter, Hai Yeon, but thought he should help Yu Do-hyuk. Julian wanted to cut off his hands because they were causing too many problems. Yu Do-hyuk began to scream, and he said that his screams were music to his ears. He knows him very well, and without his hands, he won't be able to use his essence, so how can he live like that? Yu Do-hyuk remembered Jimin's words again. However, she told him to come to his senses. He remembered all the opponents he had to fight. And then he said that everything was true, but he could fight. Julian said that in this life, he would be the hero, not some weakling like him. So if he was weak now, he should behave as he should. But then Cho Min-gu decided to help him. He jumped on Julian and hugged him. Julian asked what he was doing. Cho Min-gu said that it didn't matter how strong his magical armor was. But the flickering jade would melt it, and he would hold on until his essence ceased to function, or until the jade completely consumed him. Cho Min-gu threw a dagger to Yu Do-hai and asked him to take care of his daughter. Julian lost his power, and Yu Do-hai's hand touched the dagger. He absorbed it and was completely restored, then immediately struck Julian and asked if he really knew him as well as he claimed. But in fact, he was very wrong about that. Yu Do-hai struck him and destroyed him, and as a reward, he received 5,076 coins. He was surprised why so many, because isn't 17 coins given for killing a man? Kakurenol asked him how he was. She asked if he wanted to eat one of the pills. He said that they had made the boy that way and that his pills were dangerous. So he decided to hide them, but then he heard someone crying. He went closer and saw Hee-yeon sitting next to her father and crying. She said that this couldn't be happening and asked why it had happened. Yu Do-hyuk approached her and she recognized him. Then she ran up to him, hugged him, and asked him to tell her why her father looked like that. Yu Do-hae realized that this was his daughter. Cho Min-gu had died, and they buried him. Hee-yeon thanked her father for everything. She left a lock of her hair with him and said it was time for her to go. Then she asked Yu Do-hyuk if she could go with him. He replied that her father had asked him to take care of her. She thanked him and suggested that they fight their enemies together again. Yu Do-hyuk said he didn't remember how it was before. Hee-yeon replied that it didn't matter, and he told her to do whatever she wanted. But then he noticed a guy who had sneaked up on them and hit him. Ivan said it hurt a lot and asked how he noticed him. Yu Do-hyuk said that people like him sound like animals, and if he wants to live, he should leave right now. He said he couldn't live alone in this neighborhood and asked him to tell him what to do. Yu Do-hyuk asked if he should repeat his punch. Ivan said that he had overheard Julian talking about a place called Katla. There, one could earn influence points. Katla is a city that appeared after the start of the main trial, the Commandment Under the Sun. It appeared in the desert as a result of the merger of the 3 needles of Kasita. Similar cities have sprung up in desert areas around the world, and people go there to gain knowledge and power. His boss, Julian, was also going there. He knows the way, and it only takes 6 hours to get there, so he must need information. Yu Do-hyuk agreed and said he would take them to Katla. They need to find shelter before sunset and gather their belongings. Ivan said there would be an oasis on the way. They could gather food and water and admire the beautiful scenery. They would get there before dawn, but the main thing was to stay away from the giant cacti. Yu Do-hyuk told Ivan that if he tried to betray him, he would destroy him without hesitation. Ivan asked him not to joke like that. Hee-yeon said she was ready, and Yu Do-hyuk replied that that was great, so they set off. Yvonne said they would take a safe route, but they were attacked by monsters, and Hee-yeon asked if this was such a safe route. Ivan replied that the monsters here were small, so everything would be fine. Hee-yeon saw that Yu Do-hyuk was in danger and decided to protect him. Yu Do-hyuk said that she was a good fighter. Then he asked if she was hurt. She replied that she was fine because she had an ace up her sleeve. Then Ivan called them over. Ivan said that there was an oasis over there. Meanwhile, the man in that place said that he was not guilty and did not know that it was the same place. But the guy attacked him. He asked if, even if he knew, didn't his mother teach him that breaking into someone else's house is a crime? There are people like him walking around, and he's fed up with it. They approached the place, and Hee-yeon said it smelled bad. Yu Do-hyuk said that there must have been a power struggle there. Even if that was the case, no one had survived. Hee-yeon found a spot and said they needed to go there. Food must have been sold on the basement floor. Yu Do-hyuk told Ivan that he would go down first. His essence makes him invisible, so he would count to 100 and go down after him. If there was a person or a monster there, he should signal with the shell. 1 ring if there is 1 person, and several if there are many. He also advised not to try to deceive them. Even replied that he had no such intention. He left and asked him to save him if necessary. Yu Do-hyuk waited a moment and said it was time to go, and that Hee-yeon should stay there. Hee-yeon asked why she had to stay and said she would go too. Finally, Yu Do-hyuk agreed. He noticed 1 call from Ivan and realized that there was only 1 person there. Meanwhile, the guy had already caught Ivan and said that there were insects around. Then he asked where they were all coming from and told the others not to hide and to come out so he could deal with them. When he saw Yu Do-hyuk, he said that couldn't be. He asked him if it was really him. Then he looked at him again. He said that his face was the same as were his boots. So it was definitely him. He pushed Ivan away and ran to Yu Do-hyuk. He hugged him, and Yu Do-hyuk did not understand why this guy rushed to hug him. He said that after his return, he had been trying to find him. But he didn't know where he lived, so he decided to come here first. Usually it takes 2 weeks to walk here, but it only took him 3 days. The young man asked if he was tired because it was a long journey, and if he wanted to rest because they had a lot to talk about. Yu Do-hyuk asked him to wait and asked who he was because he didn't know who they were to each other. The guy was surprised that he didn't remember him. Then he said that the important thing was that they had met. If he had forgotten him, Yu Do-hyuk would not have left him. Then he gave him the ring and said it was his. Hee-yeon said she had told him about him. It was the ring of the winner of the A rank. Yu Do-hyuk asked why he gave it back, and he replied that it belonged to him. He had given it to him once and said that he was like a younger brother to him. Now he wanted to return the ring, but if he became active again, he could borrow it again. Yu Do-hyuk asked why he would return something so valuable. The guy said that even now he didn't trust him. Then he asked Ivan if he knew him, and he replied that of course he did and called him Mr. Moon. The young man said that Do-hyuk would not understand. Ivan apologized and explained that he was one of the Great King's closest associates. There are 4 moons: the waxing moon, the waning moon, the new moon, and the full moon. The 4 moons helped the sun and the Great King and everything, and the strongest moon among them was Lee Gyu-ho. This boy is him. Lee Gyu-ho asked if he remembered him now and then said that this was a neglected case. Then he grabbed Hee-yeon. Yu Do-hyuk told him to let her go because she was his friend. Gyu-ho remarked that it was a good joke and said that he did not need this girl, because she would collapse from a single blow, even from the people he had dealt with. Yu Do-hyuk asked if he had destroyed them. Gyu-ho said that they were jumping around like fleas, so he had to deal with them. His companions were also insects who belittled his value. His Yu Do-hyuk was much stronger, and perhaps the man standing before him had lost his former fighting spirit. But it didn't matter, he would make him a great king again, but first he had to get rid of these insects. After that, they began the battle, and Yu Do-hyuk noticed that he was still claiming that they were not enemies. Beasts are people who, after the appearance of the tower and the destruction of the world order, went mad in the new world. They destroy the weak without hesitation and out of simple desire. Such people give off a specific smell, the same as Lee Gyu-ho. Yu Do-hyuk decided to deal with him and used the ring, but Gyu-ho dodged his attacks and only said that it was very cool and that he was not mistaken. He is indeed his friend and his kicks leave marks on the skin like insects. Then he jumped off him and suggested a game. The first one to touch the other would win. Yu Do-hyuk tried to attack him, but he dodged again. Then he said that at first his abilities improved very quickly. His strength and speed were beyond imagination. Ivan asked what was going on. He couldn't even see them and thought that their movements were too fast for the eye to follow. Gyu-ho suggested catching him where he would clap his hands, but Yu Do-hyuk couldn't even touch him. The difference in their abilities was too great, but he had seen something like this before. So he activated the ring's ability, Winner's Determination. He decided that he had to land at least one blow, but Gyu-ho touched him and said that he had won. Yu Do-hyuk's attack failed. He received a penalty. Gyu-ho said that he used his ability, and now that ability is useless, but it's not his fault. Now he was friends with losers, so his grip had weakened, but he should trust him. Even if he didn't like him now, he would soon be grateful. Gyu-ho said that he would deal with this girl first. Yu Do-hyuk stood in front of Hee-yeon and told Ivan to act now. Ivan asked why him. After that, Yu Do-hyuk tried to attack Gyu-ho, but he struck him. Gyu-ho said that he had done the wrong thing and probably still didn't understand anything. So he would show him the difference between them, even if it was only a small one. If he could touch the real him, his ability would deal critical damage to him, so let him try. Yu Do-hyuk tried to catch him, but was hurt again because he didn't catch the real one. Gyu-ho apologized and said that it was probably too early for him to use the ring, so he'd better take it back. But suddenly, Yu Do-hyuk got up and grabbed it. Gyu-ho asked him what was wrong and if he remembered him. Yu Do-hyuk replied that he didn't. He held him and Hee-yeon struck him. Gyu-ho asked why she had the ring. Then he said, was the penalty just a simulation and did he really dare to take this risk? Just then, when he called out to Ivan, he handed over the ring. Yu Do-hyuk asked if he was satisfied and to leave them alone now. Gyu-ho said no. So maybe he would repeat what he had said but decided to destroy everyone. Yu Do-hyuk suggested that he play the same game. Yu Do-hyuk struck him and the deity Gyu-ho said that he had hurt him. He had hurt his child. Then Yu Do-hyuk hit him again and saw that something was happening to him and didn't understand what it was. Gyu-ho said that everything was fine and not to worry and asked if he believed him. Yu Do-hyuk understood everything. The same thing was happening to him as had happened to his previous opponents. It immediately struck him, and then decided to grab everyone. Yu Do-hyuk asked Hee-yeon if she knew what it was, and if so, he had an idea. He let her go and whispered something in her ear, and she immediately ran away. Ivan told her to wait because he would go with her. Last time, Yu Do-hyuk didn't have the strength to defeat a creature whose abilities were beyond human. If he gained the strength to resist the possessed god, he would be able to defeat him. So he decided to use the coins to raise his stats. And don't forget about the winner's ring. Jimin said that the essence of steel restores it by absorbing items. But even after eating them, he can't fully use their power. Yu Do-hyuk thought that this wasn't the essence, but just cheating. Therefore, he decided to absorb the ring and gained a new technique, the determination of the winner. Gyu-ho tried to stop the deity and assured him that he himself was to blame. Yu Do-hyuk is not guilty, so he should not touch him. He asked the god not to do anything because he was his believer. Yu Do-bichi said that he was a good child, but that the other boy smelled bad and he hated him. Yu Do-hyuk realized that it would not be easy to escape. Kakudenul said that she did not like him either. Therefore, if necessary, she was ready to replace him at any moment. Yu Do-hyuk said that it was not funny and then asked her to be quiet. After that, he tried to attack Yu Do-bichi. He spent coins to increase his speed. He had to become faster and stronger to compete with him, but that wasn't enough. He didn't have enough strength to defeat this strange creature. At this rate, he would soon lose. Yu Do-hyuk decided to increase his speed even more. Then he took advantage of the winner's determination. He tried to attack Udebi but was injured. Then Kakudenol intervened in their battle. She asked how he dared to do such a thing to her apostle. So she decided to quickly switch places with Yu Do-hyuk, but he refused and asked her who she called an apostle and told her not to interfere. Then he received permission to use the technique he had learned. Kakudenol said that he was her cute little dog, so let him do it. Yu Do-hyuk used a crazy martial arts dance, and then he attacked his opponent. Yu Do-bihi is amazed at how a human being has surpassed a deity with his will, but the price for this will be cruel. She will make him suffer for causing pain to her believer and make him repent. Yu Do-hyuk said that it talks a lot, or maybe it wants this worthless man to strike her. Hee-yeon and Ivan brought water and also caused a flood as Yu Do-hyuk had requested. She asked if that was enough. Yu Do-hyuk replied that it was more than enough. Then he swallowed the object and gained the ability to control water with telekinesis. After that, he decided to attack the goddess and said that now it was his turn. Udebi said that it was not bad, but not enough to defeat her. Yu Do-hyuk said that in their world, gods were not needed. Then he attacked her with 4 violent waves. Udbiki told him not to make her laugh because a mere human could not defeat her. Gyu-ho escaped from the deity and called out to Yu Do-hyuk, but he told him to disappear. Gyu-ho lost his faith and was expelled from his religion. Yu Do-hai defeated the god and then felt very ill. Hee-yeon asked if he was alright, but it was too early to let his guard down. Gyu-ho said that it was unbelievable and that he was incredible. Then he ran up to him and hugged him, then said that he was wrong and decided to apologize. He would no longer destroy anyone. He asked for forgiveness. He said he knew Yu Do-hyuk was just wonderful, but how did he manage to get rid of the seal of a believer? And also dispel the presence of God? Yu Do-hai said he had no idea. Gyu-ho asked if he really did everything unconsciously. It turns out that humans are capable of such things. Yu Do-hyuk asked how he could be happy in such a situation. The world is completely destroyed and chaos reigns. The law of the jungle prevails here and he is too weak. In a world where the weak are subjugated by force and crazy days and struggles follow one after another, these events are natural. Gyu-ho said that they had done a great job of making them feel that way. It seems that he still doesn't understand, so he will explain. Enlightenment is not just a game for angels to entertain themselves. It is preparation for a quest similar to a trial. But even if you complete the quest, the game is not over. Because in the end, everything must end in each person's mind. There is a hidden image in the status window. It displays indicators of willpower. As soon as the value reaches its maximum, a person breaks down. Everyone breaks down in their own way. It all started with the chief god Kasita, who took over the earth. In a world ruled by gods, there is only one law, and the strongest survive. This is the rule of natural selection. Only when the will of humanity is broken and everyone adapts to the new order, will the game end. And the world will be ruled by a representative of the strongest god. But enlightenment continues on earth because there is one person left, whose willpower had not been broken. Before his return, no one knew about this. Everyone believed that the goal of the game was to destroy God. Those who continue to think this way have set their sights on the great king. He overheard something from the angels because after their return, everyone was doing nothing but putting forward hypotheses. Gyu-ho heard that Yu Do-hyuk had led the people and become the great king. He thought that with such a leader, the world could return to normal. Yu Do-hyuk said that it seemed that what he had done before his return had been meaningless. Gyu-ho said he didn't know, but that it didn't matter. After all, he was now at a higher level, and many would not be able to repeat his achievements. Besides, he was his hyung. He had been the best, and he remained so. Together with him, he would become like that again. Hye-yeon approached him and he asked her not to make her stand up, because he wanted to rest well and then go to Kotlu. After resting, they went to the city. There was a man who said that they couldn't even imagine how miserable their lives were and called them fanatics. They noticed a mark on the man's cheek, probably a brand. He said that they did not even know where they had ended up. Before them lay the holy land of the deity Aruga, and the road to Katla was closed to them. This man destroyed Ivan. Before that, they reached the entrance, and Ivan said that they had to pay to enter, so he offered to help negotiate. As soon as he approached him, the man jumped out. Ivan greeted him and asked if payment was required for entry, and if so, that it was no problem. But he did not listen to him and immediately destroyed him. Gyu-ho asked what to do now, because they did not have enough money, but they meant nothing. Due to the blessing of another god, Yu Do-hyuk would not be able to enter. This part of the region was ruled by the god Aruga. The city itself had been summoned from another world, so that believers would force others to follow the commandments under the sun. Like the earth, they did not pass the test and were given the role of rulers of this place. They can be compared to angels. There are 2 ways to get there. Every day you need to sacrifice the appropriate number of coins. And by choosing the religion of the god Arga, you can become a full-fledged resident of the city. You will need to collect the maximum number of influence points, and then you will receive a part of the city. Then the trial will end and the Bamurti will be able to return to their world. In short, that's how it is. Yu Do-hyuk thanked Gyu-ho for the explanation and said that he and Hee-yeon would go first with their belongings. Then he asked if they had coins to get inside. Gyu-ho said of course they did and promised to look after her. Hee-yeon wanted to stop Yu Do-hai, but Gyu-ho took her by the hand. Yu Do-hai asked them to take care of each other. He defeated the man standing at the entrance and then decided to use his item to climb down to them. Yu Do-hyuk climbed to the top and thought that he should probably go there, but then the same angel appeared next to him. He asked him why he was there. The angel said his name was Bezel, so he should call him Mr. Bezel. Yu Do-hyuk said that he had not been allowed to pass because of the mark, and that his companion had been killed. He could not wander the desert forever. Besides, there was a dangerous monster there, and this world had belonged to them from the beginning. So if this was God's land, where was God himself? Bezel said that he thought he wasn't all there. Yu Do-hyuk replied that he knew, and then jumped down. He received the achievement of the first villain, and also received the achievement of Saboteur. Bezel thought he was interesting. Yan received a mission at the entrance and asked what it was. The man told her that it was her mission and that her IQ must be so low that she couldn't read. Her mission was to secure victims for sacrifice and bring 1,000 children under the age of 10 to the temple of the priest Kadeli. She did not like this mission and became angry with the man and wanted to attack him. But Gyuho stopped her and said that they would do everything in the best way possible. He thanked her and said that the mission was wonderful. Yeon asked if he was out of his mind and why he agreed to it. He told her to leave. Then he grabbed her by the throat and told her not to scream and to listen to him. In this community, natural selection prevails, and it does not matter whether you are a human or a Bamurek. Without strength and power, everyone is considered trash. He has no idea how the commandment under the sun will end if the city is taken by force. The god Aruga wants to always have the right number of believers. This means that his goal is to strengthen the faith, not to increase the number of believers. Therefore, let her listen to him, and if she does something that causes Yudo Hyok to be caught, he will personally destroy her. Then they heard someone talking about the whimsical changeability of fate. The man called him Mr. New Moon. And then he remarked that they had not seen each other since their return. This was Taurus High, and it was a great honor for him to meet him again. Gyuho said he didn't remember him and asked him to get out of his sight. He said that was possible. But from today, he was in charge of the commercial district. His essence was his sweet tongue. He specialized in bargaining and persuasion. He can also inspire the necessary thoughts in his interlocutors. He said that with his brain, essence, and money, it was easy to get into the right team and get such a position, and now he can offer them a mission that will bring a lot of influence points and can guarantee a wonderful life. Gyuho said that he talks a lot and should explain in 2 words. Taurus High offered to work with him because he is influential enough, but he didn't have enough power, so he suggested that they help each other and strengthen their cooperation in the future. If they didn't listen, they would die. Gyuho asked if that was all he had to say and if he was looking for trouble. Taurus High told him not to be so arrogant. He is not sure he can protect the woman next to him in a fight. Many would not mind having a slave of any race, especially since slaves were sold here at a fairly high price. Gyuho told him to stop this unnecessary fuss and asked if he could shut him up. Taurus High said that if that's how he sees him, then his true nature will deal with him. But his subordinates announced that someone had attacked them. Therefore, everyone needed to go to the second gate in the northeast. Meanwhile, Yudo Hyok defeated the guards. But he couldn't absorb their items, probably because they weren't human. So he decided to use the ticket that summoned the merchant. Then Mari Mukasa appeared before him and said that she was a merchant and asked who had called her. They called her, and she appeared. But then she saw that there was no one there and wondered who had called her. Yudo Hyok said that he was there. She apologized to him for not noticing him when she came out of the portal. Yudo Hyok asked her to be quiet. Then he said that it was very good that she was so energetic. But he asked her to behave more quietly. Marie Mukasa was surprised that she had been called during the battle. She wondered who had given such a person an exclusive call ticket and thought about how the merchant could have done that to her. Marie Mukasa offered her goods and he said he didn't care what they were. He would buy everything she had for all his coins. Then he said he would take this weapon. She asked where he was going to use it and he said he would just eat it. Marie Mukasa thought he was crazy, but after he swallowed the weapon, she noticed that his wounds had disappeared. She asked if she could check the client's status if he didn't mind. Yudo Hyok agreed. Marie Mukasa took out the bullet and, after entering the user access code, opened his status. She said that he was collecting techniques and abilities of items. Then she grabbed his hand, apologizing to him, and saw the mark of the winner's ring. At first, she couldn't see it because it was dirty. Yudo Hyok asked if such a number of abilities was very rare. She also noticed the mark of the goddess and thought he was a dangerous person. Then she said that it was indeed so, and that it was simply incredible. At first, items were only possessed by historians and great heroes of different races from many worlds. They were like treasures that were recorded, so abilities were not easy to obtain. And in general, he had an amazing skill. The very fact that items are imprinted on his body and soul after use is an amazing skill. For example, accelerated blood loss. It causes blood loss from his blows, and maximizing the pain with each blow increases the damage inflicted on his opponent. All this is unimaginable, and it is not easy to receive God's blessing because for that he has to like you. But still, she wants to note something else. He can use his abilities more effectively if he stops buying random items and buys only those that will improve his abilities. This item will help improve the abilities he already has. It is the corsage of a fallen aristocrat. Yudo Hyok said it suits him. So he will take it, but he will ask her to give him the bag as well. Mari Mukasa was delighted and said that he could store and keep the items in a special compartment. He said he didn't know much about that and that it was easier to get what he needed out of the bag. Marie Mukasa thanked him for using her services. Then she became interested in his karasa and said that it was wonderful work, but he replied that it was not for sale and, moreover, there was already someone who wanted to buy it. She thought of Lawrence and said that if she could buy at least one similar item, her value as a seller would increase several hundred times. No one else in the association would dare to treat her disrespectfully, but it would be a sin to sell something that was a gift from God. Great misfortune awaits a person who does such a thing. Still, she should try. Yudo Hyok realized how cunning Lawrence was. Marie Mukasa said that if she bought it, she could become the head of the association's branch and be a successful salesperson. Yudo Hyok noticed someone approaching them and grabbed her. She asked why the client was behaving like that. For her, work came first, but then she realized that he wanted to protect her. Yudo Hyok pushed her away and started fighting the attackers. He used Yada's weapon and his skillful technique to sever the arm of one of the attackers. He quickly dealt with the other one as well, then told Mari that he had a proposal. He was now going to capture the city. It is called Holy Ground, so he is sure that there are many divine objects here. So what if he sells them all to her? He would collect items that suited his abilities, and then she could become not only the branch manager but also the president of the association. Marie agreed but said it would not be easy to do. Yoo Do-hyuk replied that he did not care, so they made a deal. She said she was counting on him and gave him a personal call ticket, saying she would eagerly await his next call. He wondered if all salespeople were like that and thought that if it was a divine thing, he would sell it when he called her again. Then he heard Kakudenul's voice in his head calling him insolent and saying that she would not allow him to do so. The pills would not leave him even if he threw them away, and how could he even think of selling her gift? He must be punished for this. He said that she had given them to him of her own free will, and if she was not satisfied, she should take them back and leave. Kakudenul called him a rebel and said that her heart was about to jump out of her chest. After that, he was punished for breaking the rules. Yoo Do-hyuk asked if she shared his pain. She said it was unbelievable and that it was because of his nature. He deserved to be punished in kind. He said that if so, he would make the pain even more painful, so he wanted to eat the ticket to call the saleswoman. Kakudenul asked if her dog wanted to play with her, and if he knew that she could customize the system to her liking. After that, the pill bottle jumped out of his hand and ran away. Yoo Do-hyuk was surprised that an item could move on its own. Then he saw that one of the guards picked them up, ate several pills, and began to turn into a monster. Yoo Do-hyuk wanted to open his status to increase his strength, but he couldn't do anything because his opponent struck him. His opponent lifted a stone structure and threw it directly at him, but Yoo Do-hyuk managed to escape in time. He delivered a powerful kick and was able to destroy the Bamur. For this, he received 8,000 coins. Yoo Do-hyuk tried to find the bottle of pills, but it started running away from him again. Then he heard someone announce that there was a criminal here and began to run away. The pills also tried to climb to the top of the building. The guards thought he was heading for the main building of the city and caught up with him, but he repelled their attack. Then he saw that Hee-yeon had been caught, but he remembered her father's words that the mineral would definitely work. Her second essence, the green-yellow gene, was activated, and objects designated as dangerous would melt and evaporate. She was afraid that she had destroyed them all, but then Taurus Hei and Gyu-ho said in unison that she was fine. Gyu-ho dealt with Taurus Hei and said that he considered her a useless insect, but look at her now. Hee-yeon said that she was not an insect. Then they received an announcement that they had to capture the one who had made his way to the sacred land of Castle. The number of participants was unlimited, and whoever captured him would receive a reward of 500,000 coins. Hee-yeon said they had to hurry because it was about Yoo Do-hyuk. After the announcement, many people wanted to participate, especially for such a reward. After that, the real hunt began. Everyone wanted to capture him, and it was known that he was heading to the central temple in the northeastern part of the city. Events were unfolding faster than they had expected. If this continued, the entire city would become their enemy. Yoo Do-hyuk was looking for something to improve his well-being and realized that he had only one item left, so he swallowed it. Yoo Do-hyuk landed in the center of the city, and it was dangerous. If he hadn't slipped, who knows what would have happened. Then he found the pills and asked if they had finally calmed down. He thought that they must have had some kind of goal. This place must be their target. He decided to go inside to check and found a divine item. The swords looked like claws. This pair of crescent blades are SS-class items. Gyu-ho said that Aruga's divine items are buried in this place. These were the very weapons used by the Great King in his previous life, who was even able to defeat a god. Therefore, Yoo Do-hyuk decided to destroy the treasure trove, and then take the pair of sickles. After that, an alarm sounded from the treasure fortress. All the players decided to grab it. They wanted to receive the reward. Yoo Do-hyuk could not get through the barrier because he did not have access to the divine object. The god Aruga called him naive and said that his own desires would be his undoing. Yoo Do-hyuk decided to leave. Aruga asked him if he really thought he could escape, since he was being hunted. He went out into the street and saw that they were already waiting for him there. The players said they had to hurry before the others arrived, but some of them realized that this was a great king. Some said it would be better to kill him right away, but others pointed out that if they took him prisoner, they would receive coins. One man was upset that he already had a second identity. Another said that they were talking too much and asked them to leave. He decided to try to attack him, but another man killed him and said that this guy was his prize. Yoo Do-hyuk said that he had hit the nail on the head. After that, he attacked the man. Another man joined him. One of the men asked if this was a doubling technique, and the other replied that it was not. Yoo Do-hyuk was also surprised that there were two of them, and lost his vigilance because of this. The man struck him, but the other stopped him and said that if he hit him again, he would die. But the mission had already been accomplished. They sent a report that the mission was complete, after which the building began to move. The high priest Pal Rim Mu appeared before them and said that the land of God had been desecrated by a foreigner who had entered it. So Auga was furious. Those who captured the offender would be rewarded, and the criminal would face severe punishment from the god Aruga. If the land of God had been defiled, he would perform a ritual of purification with the blood of the sinner himself. He told Yoo Do-hyuk to stand up, and not to waste the high priest's time. Then his subordinate attacked him with a spear. Yoo Do-hyuk said that it was a wonderful item and looked appetizing. After that, he devoured it and healed his wounds. Then he struck his opponent. And then he said he would destroy everything there. Gyu-ho was the man in the mask who attacked him. The high priest's subordinate said that he would not succeed, but Gyu-ho struck him. After that, they were surrounded by guards. Hee-yeon was also wearing a mask, disguised as the second attacker. She took off her mask and began to destroy the guards, saying that not even a fly could pass her. Pal Rim Mu asked how a heretic dared to do such a thing in the main temple, and said that he would punish him for this sin and destroy him once and for all. Yoo Do-hyuk destroyed him. The subordinate who stabbed him with a spear said he would destroy him for this. But Gyu-ho remarked that his opponent was his rival. How dare he hurt his hand? Because of him, he had to strike him. They had planned everything in advance. If everyone found out that Yu Do-heok had entered their land, the order to capture him would surely be given. Therefore, they decided to capture him first, after which he would destroy the heart of the city in one fell swoop, and for this he struck their Yu Do-heok. Gyu-ho became enraged and thus activated the essence of anger. He was worried that he would not be forgiven, and then he began to destroy his opponent. All the while, he only said that he was sorry. He apologized every time. Then Yu Do-heok approached him to calm him down. Gyu-ho asked if he had done well. Then he began to ask if he was hurt and if he was going to eat the item. Then he said that this weapon suited him very well and that he also had a pair of swords. Then he apologized for getting Yu Do-heok dirty. He asked him not to come near him until he had washed the blood off himself. Yu Do-heok said that everything was fine and that he was a good boy. Gyu-ho thanked him for that and remembered how he had thanked him the same way last time and laughed because he was happy that the great king had praised him. Then he said that the strongest of all had recognized him and he was simply delighted. He emphasized that everyone should see this. Yu Do-heok realized that he was one of those people who had lost their minds while hunting in this crazy world. If this was really the case, what should he do now? The god Aruga entered the body of the high priest Pal Rim Mu and asked how they dared to desecrate the Holy Land. He activated the soul transfer and decided to punish them. Seeing God, all his subordinates bowed before him. Yu Do-heok asked what was going on. Gyu-ho said that it was Aruga who had come and that everything was exactly as it had been with Yudabichi when he believed in her. The body of the believer became a mediator. Aruga began to grab his believers, and they were ready to give their bodies and souls to him. Gyu-ho said that these guys had been brainwashed. Yu Do-heok called them crazy. Gyu-ho said that their faith was deeper than it seemed. After destroying a large number of believers, Aruga began to change. The players asked if the trial was not over with the death of the high priest. Another remarked that this giant was the real test, or else he didn't understand. The man asked how it was possible to defeat something like this. And he said that it was impossible, although some were capable of it. By some, he meant the Great King. They recalled that he had also been a great king in the past. They began to shout that they should not live in a city where they were being mocked, and that they should follow the Great King. So they began to support him and say that he would succeed. Hai Yen thought that they wanted him to die. The main conditions for obtaining sufficient divinity and followers were met, and the system announced the beginning of the legend of Do-heok's existence. He said that now he understood who the gods really were. They were pitiful creatures with intelligence who had passed the final test. They needed and gained access to god status in the game, and he was probably proud to be called that. But only those who rid themselves of their followers when they feel like it are worthy of the title of god. Such beings as he are called monsters. Aruga asked how an ordinary human dared to mock a god. This is the body of the sun god, and with this flame that can burn the universe, he will destroy it. And then he began to burn everything around him. Yu Do-heok burned his hand, and Gyu-ho asked if he was okay. He replied that he was neither a god nor a devil, but just a monster. Then Aruga began his destruction again. Hai Yan said she didn't know if he was a god or not, but couldn't he be a little more careful? Gyu-ho asked if she hadn't heard Hen. He said that it was a monster, which meant that it could be destroyed. Hee-yeon asked where he had gone, and he replied that it was obvious, and that he had gone to deal with Aruga. The power of a god depends on the vessel in which he resides. Therefore, gods choose stronger vessels, but Aruga preferred quantity over quality. The result was an incredibly powerful creature. But the more power he uses, the more vessels he needs. Otherwise, he will begin to weaken. There is a chance of victory, but right now they are only hindering him. So Gyu-ho said that he is not the person she is used to. Therefore, she should not interfere with the battle of the Great King. But if she wants to, he will also go with her. It seems he has figured out how to help him defeat Aruga. Yu Do-heok noticed that the monster's body was getting smaller. Just as Gyu-ho said, he said that even from here he can hear his body being destroyed. It is huge but not very well made. Yu Do-heok decided to invest all his coins in strength until his power ran out. Then he noticed the faith points but didn't know what they meant. Aruga attacked him and Yu Do-heok wanted to run away, but noticed that he had blocked the road with stones. Then he saw Gyu-ho holding Hee-yeon in his arms. She screamed to let her go and asked where he was going. Gyu-ho told Yu Do-heok not to worry. They would clear the way and he should have fun. Yu Do-heok asked what he meant. Then he told them to run away immediately. Aruga wanted to strike again. Hee-yeon screamed for Gyu-ho to let her go. He put her right in front of the monster that was trying to attack them and said that he had let her go as she had asked. Hee-yeon called him crazy and then seemed to hear her father's words telling her not to worry. Her power activated and she was able to protect herself and them from the monster's attack. Gyu-ho, with her help, repelled all the attacks. Then he threw her up in the air and said that as he had said, she was very useful and it was simply incredible. Hee-yeon asked him to put her down. Aruga said that he lacked faith and began to search for non-believers. Yu Do-heok was angry with Gyu-ho for risking her life. He said that he promised to protect her. Gyu-ho told him to calm down and listen to him. She has a green and yellow SS-class mineral made of shimmering jade. It was her second essence. Yu Do-heok realized that this was the mineral Cho Min-gu had mentioned, but to be honest, Gyu-ho wasn't sure about this item. Most likely, it absorbs light and stores magical power. Her first essence is capable of creating objects at will, using magical power. This essence goes well with the second one. Surely now the mineral is filled to the brim with the magical power of Aruga's light. Hee-yeon was angry that he had touched her again, and told Gyu-ho to stop touching her, and called him crazy. Gyu-ho said that this thing was useful in any case. Hee-yeon again called him completely insane. Then she saw the creature that Aruga had sent to find them, but Hee-yeon defended herself against it with the mineral. Several more creatures surrounded them on all sides. Yu Do-heok asked if she was okay, and she replied that she was, but it seemed like they were surrounded. These monsters began to attack them, and Gyu-ho grabbed Hee-yeon again to protect them from the attack and deal with them. Gyu-ho said that he recommended running away right now. Do-heok didn't have to stay in the city. He could say with certainty that the entire city was a vessel for this creature. It would devour them all until it destroyed him. Aruga forced people to bow down before him and devoured more and more people. People fled in all directions. One of the men said that the trial was over, so why should they go through this? They all headed for the gate. But the gates were closed and would not open. The man said that the guard must have been eaten too. The girl said that now all they could do was pray, and the man asked who they should pray to. She said to anyone. Yu Do-hyuk noticed that his faith points were increasing. He, Yan, asked the small monsters to leave her alone. But then Yu Do-hyuk told them to get ready and destroy them all at once. She asked how, and he asked her to lend him her power. His faith points increased again and reached almost 1,200 points. He said he didn't know why, but he was overflowing with power, so he was unlikely to lose. Then Aruga found them and said that they were infidels, so they should give back the divine object and not annoy him. Yu Do-hyuk showed him the sword and asked if it was the item. He had not yet had the opportunity to use the sword, but he would try to defeat him with it. Gyu-ho said that he would succeed. Although he had lost his memory, his body remembered everything. Yu Do-hyuk said that this was true. Yu Do-hyuk asked Hee-yeon if she was ready, and she replied that she was. Then released light and strengthened her magical power. Then she used her witch's imagination. Then he temporarily allowed Kakudenol access to her power and attacked the monster. He told him that now he must disappear. Aruga became enraged and spread his flames around. Hee-yeon tried to protect everyone using witch's imagination. Yu Do-hyuk does not know when he became a god. In an instant, it was all over, and Gyu-ho was afraid that they had died. The system announced the completion of the trial, commandment under the sun. In this trial, the incarnation of the god Aruga lost, and Yu Do-hyuk was the winner. Hee-yeon came to her senses and began to search for Yu Do-hyuk. Then Gyu-ho grabbed her and said that now they needed everything they had, even if it was just a class. He had to find Altum right now. He was urgently needed by Yu Do-hyuk, and there was no time for explanations. Then he took her stone to find him and give it to him. People began to give him their weapons and said that if he didn't mind, he could take their items for Yu Do-hyuk and use them. Then everyone went to look for him, and when they saw someone in the middle of the smoke, they thought it was him. Gyu-ho immediately went down to him with Hee-yeon. Hee-yeon said that it was incredible that he had survived and began to cry. Gyu-ho told her to put aside her useless emotions and give him the item, because he would just stand there. Then the angel joined them and said that he had exceeded his expectations. Beazel said that he had held on for a very long time. Gyu-ho asked the angel what he was looking at and noticed that he was asking him a question. Then an angel of strength joined them and said that he had passed the main test, and from that moment on would become the new master of the Holy Land of Katli. Therefore, let him accept their congratulations and blessings as the new god. The Holy Land and the faithful will entrust their desires to him. A feather from the angel fell on his body and healed him. The angel of strength said that he had fulfilled all the conditions and was worthy of becoming a god. However, this area is only part of the lands of Aruga, and he expelled his incarnation. Therefore, the actual conditions for granting him ownership of the Holy Land have not been fulfilled. But he wants to give him what he deserves, so he will use the power of the chief god once and ask him what Holy Land he wants. Yu Do-hyuk thought about the Holy Land he wanted and thought that it was a place where people did not destroy each other. In that land, there are no beasts or criminals like on that day. Then he closed his eyes, and when he opened them, he found himself in a different place. He saw all the same buildings that were in his world. Hee-yeon ran up to him, hugged him, and said that she was fine. There were no people or angels near them, only the two of them remained. Gyu-ho said that there was no place here for those who destroyed people. There was also no place for animals on the holy ground, so he could not go in, but they would see each other next time. Yu Do-hyuk wanted to take him there, but he disappeared. He wondered if this was what he had wished for and if this was the Holy Land he had wanted. Then he decided to explore the area and find at least someone. Everything here reminded him of the world before the trial. In this world, the very existence of beasts is forbidden. Beasts are people who went mad during the Enlightenment, which made them aggressive. This was the world he had wished for. Then he received notification of the first law. A violator had been discovered, and the punishment for the offense was expulsion. Yu Do-hyuk quickly ran to the gate and saw people fleeing from the monster. He told them to hurry and not stop. A woman with a child and a man were rushing to the entrance, but then the man pushed her and ran to the gate himself. He was glad that this time he would be saved, but the system reported a violation of the law in an attempt to break in by a mentally ill person. Hee-yeon said that she had seen that man several times, but every time he approached the gate, everything disappeared. Yu Do-hyuk said that as long as he was a beast, he could not enter. Therefore, he was transported to another place because that was the law he had chosen for the Holy Land. After that, he returned home and thought about how he had already been home, and all that was left was to visit the university. Everything there was just as he remembered it. Yu Do-hyuk thought about Gyu-ho, but he didn't know what to do or how to help him. Hee-yeon came out of the bathroom and said how wonderful it was to take a bath. It had been a long time since she had done so. She sat down next to Yu Do-hyuk and said that if there was some beer, it would be perfect. Yu Do-hyuk asked her not to sit there like that. Then she asked if he was watching something. It must be a movie and she wants to watch it too. Then she got into his laptop. Yu Do-hyuk blushed with embarrassment at what she found. She deleted everything and told him to heal himself with an item. He said that what she found wasn't his. After calming down a little, Hee-yeon decided to ask something, the thing that bothered her the most. So she asked why she hadn't disappeared since she had also gone through the return. She still had memories of what had happened before him. She had the ability and she had destroyed people, but because her power frightened her, she acted uncontrollably, hurting people. She thought she would have to become a beast to survive, but it was good that at least here she could forget about such thoughts. Yu Do-hyuk said that when depression sets in, you need to eat to improve your mood. So they put their thoughts aside for later and watched a movie. They watched the movie, ate, laughed, and had fun until Hee-yeon started to fall asleep. Yu Do-hyuk said that she would get cold there. Then he said that he would sleep in the bed. She woke up and said that she would lie down and rest there. She said she would use the sleeping bag because she wanted to restore her spiritual strength if he didn't mind, but she might change her mind. Hee-yeon got into the sleeping bag and said she knew it smelled like him. Yoo-do-hyuk told her to go to sleep and decided to go out for some fresh air. While he was outside, she decided to look through his laptop and found a photo of Ji-min, which she didn't like. Yoo-do-hyuk thought about the faith points that turn people's faith into power. They started to grow again. Gyu-ho must be looking for him. And also all those people who disappeared back then. He always thought only about how to survive, paying no attention to those who were around him and gave him strength. He doesn't understand why most people here are crazy and beastly like Gyu-ho, but there are also normal people like Hee-yeon, if only he could bring back the world as it was. Then he could live with them. Yoo-do-hyuk remembered how Jimin said that he had to lead people to destroy God. Yoo-do-hyuk called the saleswoman Mari Mukasa. She asked what the strange atmosphere was since he had called her and she had come. He told her that he wanted to destroy God. Such a desire surprised her. She asked why she deserved such punishment, because if the angels hear them, they will not leave her alone. Kakudenal said that her baby was strong and said interesting things. Mari Mukasa saw the goddess and was surprised. She knew that this was the goddess of pleasure, Kakudenul, and she seemed very kind to her. Yoo-do-hyuk told her to sit quietly because she was only making things worse. Mari Mukasa said that she had seen nothing, said nothing, and heard nothing. After that, she decided to say goodbye to him and leave. Yoo-do-hyuk said that if she stayed, she would not regret it, and he promised her that. He was going to give her all the divine items he received. For example, the divine item of Aruga, a pair of moon sickles. So he asked her what she thought of the idea, and she was interested. Yoo-do-hyuk decided to show her the weapon, and she was amazed by its molecular structure, which was like a supernova. She said that it was a real SS-class item. Yoo-do-hyuk replied that it was and asked if she knew anything about it. Mari Mukasa replied that she thought so. Then she asked again if he was sure he didn't mind selling it. But he didn't answer her, so she asked him to wait a minute. Mari Mukasa contacted the association. She introduced herself and said that a client had an SS-class item. Yoo-do-hyuk was surprised that such a thing was necessary. She confirmed that it was a genuine item. After the conversation, she apologized and said she would be away for a moment to consult with someone. Then she entered the portal. She returned a moment later. Yoo-do-hyuk was surprised that it happened so quickly and asked how it went and what they told her. She replied that they had offered her a deal to start with. Then they promoted her from a novice salesperson to a salesperson for the whole store. This agreement would allow her to obtain a special status. Yoo-do-hyuk said that sounded great, and she replied that of course it did. But it didn't matter because now she had the right to buy 8AA plus class items. After that, Mari Mukasa's promotion to special salesperson began, and something in her changed. She said that now she could even buy his heart. Yoo-do-hyuk said that she didn't need to look at him like that, so she suggested getting down to business. She said that first, they give VIP customers a high-class item for free, so let him choose what he likes. Yoo-do-hyuk was surprised that this was the custom, and saw that there were items ranging from A plus to AA plus class. They were supplied by first-class sellers. He asked if he could ask something. Marie replied that he could ask anything except personal information. Yoo-do-hyuk asked if she knew the source of God's power. She thought about it and replied that the source of God's power was fear. Not all people sincerely follow God from the beginning, but when they see the miracles he performs, they have no other choice. Therefore, they have no choice but to bow their heads in recognition of the difference in power. People captivated by miracles gain faith. They tell stories, turning them into legends. As a result, this binds people with fear and God gains power. Yoo-hyuk opened his status and noticed that the faith point had appeared in the status window after the battle with Aruga. He has 4,020 faith points. There must be a reason why the counter, which was reset by using power in battle, is rising again. If so, he decided to try something and took the gluttonous frog amulet from his status and asked what it was. Mari Mukasa said it was a common item for storing food. Yoo-do-hyuk said that was great. She remarked that it looked appetizing. Then he showed her the pills and asked if she was willing to buy them as well. It was a miraculous medicine from the goddess of pleasure. She thanked him and said that of course she would, because it was a divine item, therefore she would gladly purchase it. However, she then saw a notification about a curse being placed on it and became frightened. After that, she apologized for being too arrogant and refused to buy it. Then she said she would close her shop. Yoo-do-hye saw on the screen that it was a provocation by Kakudenul and told Mari to do as she knew. After that, she left. So he returned home and woke up to Hyeon waking him up and saying that something had been placed outside. He got up and saw a large number of notifications about the detection of a large number of lawbreakers. Their punishment was expulsion. A large number of people were approaching the entrance. They were all pushing because they wanted to be the first to get in. Among them was the same woman with a child in her arms who had tried to get in last time. Yoo-hyuk was surprised that there were so many of them, and Hee-yeon asked where they had all come from. One guy wanted to squeeze through first, but a man grabbed him and asked where he was going. The boy took out a weapon and killed the man, then said that everything would work out and they would let him in, and tried to go through the portal. Hee-yeon noticed this child. Yoo-do-hyuk doesn't understand where all these people came from or what is going on. 2 kilometers southeast of the Holy Land of Katli is a warehouse for crossing the desert, a sand hotel. The head of the expedition of believers, Aragi Leon Baumgard, asked how the situation was going. Deputy Leader Kanoa Hoffman said that those who enter the city on the Holy Land have not yet been identified, and all those who unsuccessfully try to get inside end up in another place. According to eyewitnesses from Katli, the first Holy Land was captured by that man. Aruga's believers are scattered across the continent, but most of them have been used and the territory has been captured by the enemy. The number of Bamur people remaining is very small, as is the likelihood that the incarnation of Aruga has disappeared. Their mission in this expedition is very important. One of the women said that Yu Do-heok was incredible. After that, the head of the expedition, Leon Baumgard, approached her and told her to stick out her tongue. He stubbed his cigarette out on it and said that if she said his name again, he would make sure she could never open her mouth again. He threatened to cut out her tongue and feed it to the dogs. Leon Baumgard became enraged and asked how such a worthless person could call himself a god. Then he told everyone that there were more than 6,000 people in their army, and that there were also volunteers from among the residents of Bamura. According to the information received, there were only 2 people in Katla, that worthless man and the girl. He could not be compared to a god, because without strength it is an empty title, and with them are the blessings of Aruga and divine objects. Therefore they will surround Katla and besiege it. And then, together with the main army, they will destroy this godlike man because this land belongs to them. If they want to obtain status and rewards from the Holy Land, let them take up arms right now, for they are on the territory of God. The head of the scouts, Chloe Barbara, and her subordinate watched the entrance to the city. She asked if there was a smoke signal. The subordinate replied that there was none. Chloe Barbara said that they had wasted a bunch of slaves, and not a single person had been able to enter, and that this was complete nonsense. On top of that, the heat was getting in the way, so she suggested they leave quickly and get it over with. Her subordinate hoped that everything would work out, and the device they sent will comply with the new law. No one but them can know about its hidden status. Chloe said that this god had explicitly stated that he would get rid of the beasts, but she wondered if he himself was pure. In this hell, a simple guy wouldn't survive, and it was the same in the world of enlightenment. Judging by history, beasts are the true essence of man. And the current Katla is just the grumbling of a well-fed idealist, and that boy is a hypocrite who will never open his eyes. So she will destroy his reality. Hee-yeon was delighted that the boy had come to them. Yu Do-heok said that it seemed they had met a human being, not a beast. Then he approached the boy. He told him his name and asked him his name, if he had come alone, and where his parents were. The boy just said, "Ready." Then he said that he was the first and detonated the explosive device he was wearing. Chloe's subordinate saw the smoke signal. He informed her of this, and she said that she would leave immediately and that he should return and prepare a bath for her. Chloe Barbara is determined and wants to have fun, so she immediately rushed to the gate. Hee-yeon protected herself and Yu Do-heok with the sphere and asked him if he was okay. He replied that he was, but did not understand what had happened. After that, they were attacked. The leader of the expedition of believers, Aruga Leon Baumgard, ordered to destroy everything except the tower in the center of the Holy Land. A boy who was approaching the gate with his mother saw something in the sky and told his mother about it. A subordinate of the expedition leader informed Leon Baumgard that they had hit their target. Hee-yeon asked if it was the sound of an explosion, and then they saw that the outer wall had been destroyed. This was also reported to Leon Baumgard. He said that was great and that they should aim at the other walls and shoot again and again until they got tired of it. Hai-yen said that everyone who tried to get in could die. Then they saw a man making his way through the ruins toward them. He was badly wounded and asked why they had not been let in and that if he had let them in, everything would have been fine. But then another attack hit the wall. The man died, and Hee-yeon said that they should open all the gates so that no one would die. It would be better to move them to another place than leave them here. But then they were attacked again. Hee-yeon did not understand what was happening and why everything was being destroyed. Yu Do-heok realized that she couldn't take it anymore, but he remained calm. She was upset because she hadn't finished watching the drama yet. She had planned to make a garden in that place. When there were more people outside, they would have worked the land, and then they would talk about how the pumpkins grew well that year, or they would grow potatoes and hold a festival every year. Anyone who wanted to could come. They would welcome families who had children in this world, and everyone would envy them, because it was supposed to be a world where no one could be destroyed. Yu Do-heok decided to calm her down, and said that it was normal to think that way. Her dream would definitely come true, or better yet, they would go to meet it themselves. So he decided to put on his protective gear, and Kakudenul said that she had improved it a little and that it was her gift to him. He said it was okay and that, in a sense, he was just as much a god as she was. Kakudenul replied that that was even better. So she suggested turning this place into their temple and gathering as many believers as possible and then fighting their enemies. But he rejected her and told Hai-yen that they had to go. After that, they went to defend their territory. Chloe Barbara immediately attacked him and said that meeting him was not an easy task. She knew that everything had to be destroyed, because only then would he leave, so nothing had changed. Yu Do-heok asked what she meant. She said she couldn't believe he had really lost his memory. Last time, during the Enlightenment, he had created a group of cowards. And they all hid in a cave, but they were robbed, and those useless people were destroyed. She destroyed them all. Although there was one man among them who, no matter how many times he was destroyed, continued to revive. Hee-yeon was furious with her. Chloe asked where he had put her hands. After that, Hee-yeon received a notification that her willpower was decreasing. Then she decided to attack Chloe. She welcomed her to the world of beasts. Yu Do-heok saw her rage. He tried to stop her before it was too late, but she didn't listen to him and continued to attack. So he grabbed her and decided to take the attack upon himself. Even though he put all his points into defense, he still felt excruciating pain. Heo-yeon screamed in rage, and Yu Do-heok told her to calm down because she was deliberately provoking her. She said that they hated her, but Yu Do-heok asked her not to ruin everything, and then decided to absorb the weapon Chloe had used to attack him. After that, she activated her essence and hurt him, then said that he couldn't eat just anything even if he was hungry, because it tastes very spicy and can burn. Then she asked if he wasn't scared by the spicy taste, so let him try some more. Yu Do-heok noticed that there was a lake behind her and used the spring technique and the crazy dance. He attacked her with water, and Chloe was angry that she was now covered in sand. Then she noticed that they had run away. She said that when they meet again, she will cut off his arms and legs. Yu Do-hak hid with Hee-yeon in a cave and asked how she was. Then he told her to pull herself together. Memories of her past and present flashed through her mind. She remembered how she had joined his team and what had happened after that. And then she cried. Yu Do-hak hugged her and told her that everything was fine now. Little by little, she began to calm down. She remembered how her father had told her that he would protect her when she was very young. Yu Do-hyuk decided to call Mari Mukasa, and she said that he had called her and she would come. When she saw him, she asked what he wanted. He asked if she had a good item for stabilizing the mind. She replied that most of them allowed interference with the mind and concealed status. Therefore, they were sold illegally, and Lawrence was often arrested for them. Yu Do-hyuk asked her if she had one. She took out the item and said that this headdress of the Quokka nomads protects against misfortune. If you wear it, everything will be fine. Yu Do-hyuk asked Mari to take care of Hee-yeon until he returned. She replied that she would provide a special service. She would watch over her for a short time if that was what her client wanted, as it was the law for her. Yu Do-hyuk asked her to take good care of her, especially since he said he was like a god. Yu Do-hyuk remembered Cho Min-gu's words when he asked him to take care of his daughter. He just wanted his daughter to survive. Cho Min-gu said that he was like a benefactor to his daughter. Yu Do-hyuk did not understand that. In the end, nothing had changed since then. Chloe approached him and asked if he was engaging in self-flagellation. She had said that if he was in incredible pain, she would gladly destroy him, and then she attacked him. He hurt her, and she said that it was wonderful and that he should hurt her more. Then she activated her essence and told him to destroy her. After that, she struck him, and Yu Do-hyuk lost consciousness. Chloe said that this would not work, and asked him if he was not ashamed to call himself a god. Then she saw the mark of the goddess of pleasure on him. She said that in the end, he was also a slave to that mad god, and that it was hypocritical of him to pretend to be innocent. Then she said that she would cut off his hands and feet and hang them in her room. So now they would see if he could even squeak, and the humiliation she felt during her past enlightenment would return to him tenfold, so he should wait impatiently. Yu Do-hyuk asked what this nonsense was and what further humiliation there would be, and whether there had been anything between them. But for some reason, he did not remember. She called him immoderate and said that it was very wonderful. She can no longer restrain herself and everything inside her is burning. After that, she hit him several times and said that he was the best, but it was a pity that it would all end this way. She would cut him into pieces and display them on holy ground. So how did he like that? She decided to use her bloody bomb, and she splashed him with blood. But then he grabbed her to destroy her with her own weapon, and then there was an explosion. Chloe called him crazy. Yu Do-hak took a frog amulet with unlimited absorption and ingestion capabilities out of his pocket and swallowed her. The head of the expedition of believers, Aruga Leon Baumgart, asked his subordinate who had ordered them to stop. So let them attack without stopping. The subordinate apologized and said that all the weapons had overheated due to continuous operation and were now cooling down. Therefore, they needed to wait a little longer and then they would be able to continue the attack. Leon Baumgart struck him. The god Aruga told him that he could not wait and that they should capture the Holy Land and destroy the infidels. Such was the command of the god. So let them all destroy the enemies in the name of God. A subordinate reported that the cooling was complete, so let them continue the attack. Leon Baumgart said that this was excellent, so let them wipe them out completely and destroy everything. A subordinate reported that a survivor of the attack had been found. It was Yu Do-hyuk. Leon Baumgart became enraged and ordered his immediate destruction. After that, they continued to attack the city. Yu Do-hyuk touched the wall and said that this was his city and he would not lose it. So he used his essence, the taste of steel again, and, together with the gluttonous frog, released a light and began to devour everything. Leon Baumgart asked what it was and where the light came from. Deputy Chairman Kanoa Hoffman said there were no hits. All the buildings except for the tower disappeared. Yu Do-hyuk thought about how he had eaten too much. At that moment, Basil approached him and said that he had seen various enlightenments before, but this was the first time he had seen something like this. The other angels also joined in and were surprised that he had completely engulfed the Holy Land. Basil said that no matter who God was, he could not understand the situation. The Angel of Power also watched what was happening. All the people from Aruga's expedition of believers launched an attack. Yu Do-hyuk, meanwhile, decided to reveal his status and use the coins. He increased his physical strength, endurance, and speed as much as possible. He also decided to restore his appearance. Yu Do-hyuk noticed that his religion points had decreased, probably because he had not performed any actions for the past few months. To them, he was more like a beast that could be easily eaten than a new god. After that, he decided to attack the people who wanted to attack him. Leon Baumgart's subordinate said that he was here and that he had to be destroyed. After they destroyed him, everything would be theirs. So they surrounded him on all sides and tried to attack him. But Yu Do-hyuk quickly dealt with those who attacked him. Two men stood and hoped that he would not come to them. They believed that he was capable of incredible things. But then he came to them. The man said that they were just flag bearers. Therefore, they were ready to surrender because they did not intend to fight. Yu Do-hyuk approached the man and touched his face with his foot, and the man closed his eyes, and when he opened them, he was gone. Leon Baumgart was angry that they couldn't catch just one man. He called them useless and ordered them to get rid of him. Yu Do-hyuk saw that they were being attacked with weapons and thought that they were just crazy and didn't care about their people. But then Hee-yeon stood in front of them and repelled the attack. She turned to Yu Do-hyuk and asked if he had been waiting long. Yu Do-hyuk asked if she had come to her senses, and she replied that she had and was now ready to fight. He asked if she liked the hat, and she said no, but she didn't take it off because she was in a hurry. Yu Do-hyuk decided to approach one of the attackers. He said that they were being attacked from those directions and asked which one was their main camp. If he told him, he would pretend not to notice them. The man pointed in the direction of their camp. Yu Do-hyuk told Hee-yeon that they needed to leave, and she agreed with him. Then he picked her up. After that, he rose into the air and flew to the indicated place. Leon Baumgart's subordinates said that it did not seem like the divine weapon was working on him. Even if they increased the number of soldiers, it would not work, and he was indeed a divine warrior. Leon Baumgart saw that Yu Do-hyuk was approaching them, and told them to continue attacking him and not to stop. His subordinates used a cannon to attack him, and the green and yellow Jean Hye-yeon protected them from the blow. Then the warriors attacked them, and Hee-yeon used the witch's fantasy, while Yu Do-hyuk took advantage of the deity's release. Therefore, he continued to fight his opponents with the help of a crazy martial arts dance, as well as the source and the crazy dance. The source of divine power is fear of it. People will not willingly believe in such a cruel being, but when they see the miracles that God performs, they have no choice but to bow down before him in recognition of the difference in power. People who are captivated by miracles gain faith. They tell stories, turning them into legends. As a result, by binding people with fear, God gains power. Leon Baumgart's subordinates began to beg Yu Do-hyuk for mercy. They said they could not destroy him because he was a true god. After that, his religion points began to rise. In an instant, the religion's popularity rose to 4,030, but Leon Baumgart said he could not recognize him. Then he attacked him with a cannon and said that he would never recognize him as a true god. So let him not make a fool of him. Gods like him are worthless. Hye-yeon saw that Yu Do-hyuk had been injured. Then Leon Baumgart's subordinates used their weapons to capture him, but Yu Do-hyuk decided to use his essence. With the help of the taste of steel, he absorbed all the weapons that were trying to restrain him and healed his wounds. But after that, Leon Baumgart attacked him again and told him to calm down if he couldn't use his skill. His subordinates joined him to strike, but Yu Do-hyuk broke free again. Leon Baumgart told them to attack without stopping. After that, he used the dogma of hell, and the conditions for activating the essence of the tomb of the king of hell were fulfilled. So now he can control the body and mind of those bound to him by a blood contract. After that, the people who had bowed before Yu Do-hyuk attacked him. One of the men said he didn't want to die and asked for help. Then he used an explosive device. Leon Baumgart ordered them to fight him until he died. But the people began to bow down before Yu Do-hyuk, calling him a god, and the religion's popularity only grew. Leon Baumgart noticed that Yu Do-hyuk had survived the attack and asked how he could still be unharmed. The deity Yu Do-hyuk received a unique symbol, and his religion points increased to the maximum. His ability is willpower. Yu Do-hyuk remembered how Jimin said that he led people to destroy God, and said that he did not know why. He just wanted to survive and needed strength, because if he was weak, he would have died. But this strength is not that of a beast or a god. It is the strength of a human being. Many are dissatisfied with him being a god, but they themselves want to be in his place. Yu Do-hyuk told Leon Baumgart that it seemed he had no right to do so either. Leon Baumgart wanted to attack him, but Yu Do-hyuk asked if he really thought he could defeat him. Then he severed his arm. Kanoa Hoffman thought that the one who was the strongest of the Phenomenal Nine before his return had now become a divine warrior. But Yu Do-hyuk did not understand why they called him a god. During the previous enlightenment, he had destroyed many people and captured foreign territory. He is not like a god, but more like an assassin. After that, Aruga decided to intervene with the help of Leon Baumgart's body. He called his followers pitiful lambs and ordered them to become the embodiment of his body. Yu Do-hyuk said that he was the god Aruga. Aruga said that it was all his. These were his believers in his holy land. Everything he stole from him belonged to him. Yu Do-hyuk said that he had diminished compared to their last meeting. Aruga told him to shut up, but Yu Do-hyuk cut off his hand and remarked that now he was the god here, so he should disappear from his sight. God said that he was a puppy who had just received divine power, so he had no right to command him but should fear him. So let him listen to the true God. After that, he began to devour his believers and told them to fear God. Yu Do-hyuk said that fear is the source of faith, and faith is the source of power. This is the essence of God. But does this mean that as long as there is power, everything else is unimportant? Aruga said that this is so. Yu Do-hyuk asked if this was really so. Then he said that people like him made him sick. Aruga replied that if he had nothing more to say, then he should just die. He has the body of the sun god, the greatest of the gods, so he will not lose to a nobody like him. After that, they began to fight, and Yu Do-hyuk quickly defeated the god. Aruga shrank to his smallest size. Yu Do-hyuk asked, and this he called the greatest. Then he called him a trifle and remarked that his companion had said something to him. That is, Aruga has the lowest rank among the gods. But in terms of the number of believers, he is not inferior to the others. He possesses insignificant abilities and derives his power from the fear of believers whom he is not even capable of protecting. Therefore, he should not even dare to call himself a god. At that moment, Chloe's subordinate tried to attack Yu Do-hyuk. Yu Do-hyuk repelled his attack and wondered who he was. Then the guy remembered Chloe, who had been kind to him. He was punished, but she offered him food and said that if he helped her, she would save him. So let him give her more honor than this cursed god. The subordinate said that she was his god. Aruga saw the cannon and decided that this was not the end. In an instant, he flew to it and used the divine power of the sun god's heart. All the people noticed that something was wrong. Yu Do-hyuk said that they should all retreat now. Now was not the time to think about enlightenment, so let them flee. But some thought that there was nowhere to run. Aruga said that they would all die. Hye-yeon asked them to stay and trust her and Yu Do-hyuk. Or rather, they should believe in the power of the divine warrior. Now they must believe in their true god. The angels watched what was happening. Bezel told the angel of power that it looked like Aruga was going to destroy the world, so maybe they should stop him. Yu Do-hyuk thought about how he had destroyed countless times in order to survive. But was there no other way? He did not want to survive at the expense of someone else's death. He asked himself if he was living only to continue living. Hee-yeon calls out to him and tells him not to hesitate because he is Yoo-do-hyuk, and he can do anything because she believes in him. Together they must save these people and he is her god. Yoo-do-hyuk said he didn't know she saw him that way. He also didn't know how much she trusted him, but he promised that he wouldn't let his followers down. Now his religion points are 35,000. Aruga said that the sunlight that illuminates the universe will burn everything to the ground. After that, he released a flame. Hee-yeon protected herself and all the people with a green and yellow gene. Then she said that the legend of Yoo-do-hyuk had begun, the legend of the creation of the world. Yoo-do-hyuk activated his characteristics and used the salamander's trident. Then he delivered the Armageddon split strike. He remembered his training and how Jimin said that he had lost again. He replied that he had started training because he wanted to become stronger. But maybe it wasn't for him. Jimin said that he was wrong and that she knew it for sure. His willpower was stronger than anyone else's. Therefore, he must not give up. After that, Yoo-do-hyuk came to his senses because Hee-yeon woke him up. He saw that she was crying and then realized that he had survived after all. After that, Hee-yeon hugged him tightly and called him stupid because she thought he had died. Yoo-do-hyuk said that she would be right if she didn't let him go right now. Hee-yeon helped him up, and he saw a large number of people bowing their heads before him. They wanted to become his followers and swear allegiance to the divine warrior. Kanoa Hoffman called him a god and said that now they belong to him. Yoo-do-hyuk asked if they really wanted to follow him, but did they have the right to do so? After that, he decided to use the gluttonous frog. Before the battle, he swallowed the entire city with the help of the gluttonous frog's amulet, which collects and stores everything, and now activated the resurrection. Therefore, the entire city was revived, and he told them to enter. Whether they had the right to do so or not would be determined by his holy land. After that, they all rushed to the entrance. In a moment, the lawbreaker was found and expelled for his crime. People began to destroy each other to get inside. Yoo-do-hyuk was saddened by this, and Hee-yeon took him by the hand. Kanoa Hoffman asked why this was happening, and whether it was wrong to become a beast in order to survive. But were they beasts who craved hostility? He entered the gate carrying his subordinate on his shoulders, and asked if Yoo-do-hyuk wanted to become a god who turns away from those fighting for their lives. Hee-yeon said that this was nonsense, and that not everyone destroyed others in order to survive, so he should not speak such nonsense. But was that really true? After that, angels descended upon them. Bazil said that he was a god, and that whatever the will of God was, it was true. It was only because of him that chaos began in the education system, so let him return everything to the way it was. Basil tried to explain. Hee-yeon asked what had happened. At first, the trials were controlled by the gods of other worlds. By passing them, living beings became stronger and evolved, like during the 10 Commandments under the sun. But evolution is in all respects a controversial discipline for determining the strongest. And this guy not only destroyed a god, but also became one himself. In fact, from the very beginning of enlightenment in this world, his actions were closest to those of a god. Basil couldn't even see his true nature when he tested his system. This special essence works when it comes into contact with God. It can only be obtained by defeating God. His second essence is beyond the horizon. That is why he received the seal of God. Kakudenal entered Hyen and asked the angels why they had come out, then attacked Bazila. She asked who made them grovel and who even allowed them to look in her direction. Perhaps Maratra or Mehuram. Could it be someone else? After that, Yoo-do-hyuk received a message from the pantheon of gods requesting communication. Kakudenal said that he belonged to her and told them to leave him alone. Then she destroyed the notification system. Yoo-do-hyuk grabbed her and told her to get out of there and never possess Hyeon's body again. She asked if he liked using her when he needed her. Then she said that he would belong to her forever. Kakudenal would watch over him from above, so he should stay strong. After that, she left Hyeon's body. Yoo-do-hyuk asked Bazil if the gods were watching them now. The angel replied that he thought they seemed to like it, and of course they were watching. They are watching this world from a place where he cannot even sense them. Or, to be more precise, they are watching everything they do.